breaking news and trending talk. This is 1017 FM and 710 KEEL. KEEL, Shreveport.
Your AccuWeather.com forecast. Very warm and humid today. Sun and some clouds with a high of 92. Mainly clear, low 70 tonight. Sunshine, high 93 for tomorrow. With your AccuWeather.com forecast, I'm meteorologist Heather Zare.
It was a nice video face to start the day. I just did like 50 volts shooting up my spine face. Good morning, 3 past 6 o'clock. Robert and Erin, it's 1017 FM and 710 KEEL. Erin, local news, she's getting ready.
Investigation at the animal shelter, it's ongoing. A bookkeeper is accused of stealing $500,000 from her company. And prayer at Bossier High School graduations. Does it stay or go?
Speaking of the growing potential scandal at CEPAS, is that how they say it? CPAWS.
Yeah.
The animal shelter, a replay of our chat yesterday with Cattle Commissioner Mike Middleton. Yeah, wait till you hear what he's got to say.
Yikesy, wawa.
He implies that it doesn't stop with one dog.
Exactly.
Fletcher in sports and traffic and weather, and it's all coming up this hour, and it's here on KEEL.
KEEL Morning Report. Now on 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL.
An investigation continues at the Caddo Animal Shelter. We've learned at least one employee is being investigated for allegedly selling a dog from the shelter online. Caddo Commissioner Mike Middleton tells us this employee could face theft charges.
If he's taken something in that's not his, and it could be just a misappropriation, which is theft.
But Middleton also tells us he does not believe this is a one-time occurrence. A bookkeeper busted for stealing money. Lori Johnson arrested for allegedly stealing nearly $500,000 from her employer. According to the Caddo Sheriff's Office, Johnson worked for the Greater Shreveport-Bossier Auto Auction and was using her job to take money and cover up her actions. Despite pressure from a national group, the Bossier School Board votes to keep student prayer at graduation ceremonies. The board got a letter from the group Americans United for Separation of Church and State that asked Bossier to keep prayer and religious sermons from future ceremonies. The district's legal team is drafting a response letter that says the nonprofit's letter contained factual errors and that the law is on the students' and school board side. College enrollment is up despite cuts to TOPS. Matt Parker with that.
Despite cuts to TOPS funding, more students are going to college in Louisiana this year than last. Centenary saw their largest number of new incoming students since 2011. LSU saw a 24% jump in enrollment. Northwestern and Grambling's enrollment grew by 7%. Louisiana Tech saw the smallest increase at 1.5%. LSU school system president F. King Alexander says that the numbers show people understand the value of getting a college education. From 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL, I'm Matt Parker.
Caddo Commission delays a vote on a new fence. Sheriff Steve Prater's been pushing for a fence around the courthouse.
We've got one of the worst places in the world that you could come out of a building and where people could hide or hide anything they wanted, whether it be guns, it could be explosives, it could be anything.
The commission voted 8-3 to delay making a final decision on putting a fence around the courthouse. North Korean leader Kim Jong-un says Donald Trump is deranged and will pay dearly for his threats. The North Korean foreign minister reportedly said his country may be planning to test a hydrogen bomb in the Pacific Ocean. DOTD hoping the major overlay project on I-20 in Webster Parish will be done by the Thanksgiving weekend, which would be ahead of schedule. Spokesperson Erin Buchanan says the westbound lanes are complete and contractors are now working on the eastbound side.
And then, of course, following that, they'll be applying some asphalt to the shoulder, putting down the permanent striping, finishing up some guardrail work and that sort of thing.
Louisiana, the number 7 state for drinking on college game days. Spokeswoman Carson Yarborough says they also found tailgating fans in Sportsman's Paradise prefer burgers, while most Americans prefer wings.
And y'all prefer beer and cornhole as y'all's favorite drinks and tailgating activities.
Partly cloudy today, possible shower, 92 for the high. Right now, 76. I'm Erin McCarty on 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL.
Nine past 6 o'clock. It's 101.7. Well, gosh, I'll tell you in a couple of seconds. 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL. Here's traffic.
Looks like I-49 South's got it clear all the way to Alexandria right now, but look out later on this morning for some traffic delays on I-220 eastbound near North Market due to construction. If you have any accidents, hazards, or closures to report to us, please give us a call at our Planet Fitness traffic hotline. That's 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather.com forecast. Very warm and humid today. Sun and some clouds with a high of 92. Mainly clear, low 70 tonight. Sunshine, high 93 for tomorrow. With your AccuWeather.com forecast, I'm meteorologist Heather Zaire.
Mike, we got another problem.
That it? Yes, I will confirm that. Don't remember if it's Craigslist or what, but don't remember if it's Craigslist or what, but yeah. So don't remember if it's Craigslist or what, but don't remember if it's Craigslist or what, but yeah, social media. I became aware of it Saturday a week ago. So I do my little walk exam now, and someone. That it? Yes, I will confirm that. Don't remember if it's Craigslist.
Good morning. It's 12 past 6 o'clock. Robert J. Wright, Erin McCarty. It's 101.7 FM, 710 KEEL. The KEEL app sounds awesome, and it's a free download from Office Furniture Source. Okay, so let's start with the serious stuff. I mean, you know me. I can't even watch Benji movies. Benji, look out behind the chaise lounge. I mean, I freak out, okay? Right. So this kind of story for me is I'm just, the internal as well as the external wincing is, it's such a, I'm just so squirming over this.
Right.
So is there the latest when it comes to the story about, is it crazy to say, the headline yesterday, is there a dog selling ring being operated out of the Caddo Parish Animal Shelter?
There has been confirmation that there's been at least one dog sold. There's now suspicion that there's more than one, and more than one employee may be involved.
Let's right now go back to yesterday's conversation with Caddo Commissioner Mike Middleton. That was the first question. The selling of the dog on Craigslist, online. What do you know? Can you confirm that? Are those stories true?
That it? Yes, I will confirm that. Don't remember if it's Craigslist or what, but yeah, social media. I became aware of it Saturday a week ago. So I do my little walk exam now, and someone called and told me about it. So actually, the animal welfare people actually did a lot of the forensics for me and put a lot of stuff together. And then on early that next week, which was last week, we got with the sheriff's office, and I think actually administration had already taken it to the sheriff's office. I was impressed by that, according to my sheriff's office contact. And they're investigating, and Dr. Wilson called me about it last Friday, and I don't know if you knew I was aware of it or not, but anyhow, he called me and told me about it. And they have PDACs scheduled. The investigation happened from the sheriff's office and then from the internal aspects for the commission, and then they'd look at what has to be done in personnel changes or policy changes.
And that the story that the way this thing came to light was that the owner of the dog went to the shelter. Well, can you walk us through step by step what happened? Well, first of all, is that part true? And the step-by-step process that all this got to the point where we are now?
Well, I can't really confirm or deny that. I'm not exactly sure, but that's what's been explained to me, because all I was originally told by the folks that reported to me that this dude had sold a dog, was selling dogs online, and and from the shelter. Now, I will say this: there were some pictures that were kind of incriminating, in my opinion. Like one of them in one of the rooms out there, the picture was taken with the dog, and then there's another one had a leash, a particular type of leash that Animal Services puts on the dogs. So there's some incriminating evidence there, and so we just want to make sure they got out there, and let's find out who's involved and take the action that needs to be done. And I'm for aggressive, doing the best we can with that action. In other words, whoever has to fall, they fall.
Is that employee still employed at the animal shelter today?
I don't know that.
Was it a part-time employee? What can you tell us about the worker?
I think it was. I don't know all those details, and that's when that curtain goes up between me and the personnel, because they can drop that curtain. I can't really see what's going on. But my understanding was a part-time employee. But part-time employees don't work by themselves out there.
Is it standard policy that during this kind of investigation, which I would think is a pretty serious one, that this person would at least be on some kind of suspension?
I don't know that, Robert. We'll have those details once everything, the whole package is put together. I would think so. I would think they would be, sent home. I always say, they're always sent home with pay. Well, I think the pay ought to be withheld. If they're guilty, they're guilty. But,
Mr. Mike, is there any sense of how long this has been going on? How many other dogs have been sold? Who is doing the investigating? What can you tell us?
One of the top-notch investigators at the Sheriff's Office is doing the investigation. At least that's who I have my contact with. And he is very thorough. I'm going to have to defer to the Sheriff's Office for that part of it, but very able and capable guy. I've known him since he was a teenager. But, it's going to be in-depth. We want to find out exactly what other issues might be there. Again, the Sheriff's Office is only going to conduct what the criminal investigation side of it would be. Well, the Parish Commission, HR Director, Ms. Bryant, she'll be responsible for the internal issues.
A one-time deal, Mike, or maybe this has been going on? There's more than one dog sold.
I feel like it's, I'm just shooting from the hip here. I feel like it's been going on. I don't know if it's a regular thing, an occasional thing, or what. But based on the number of pictures that these people, I want to call them my forensics investigators, brought up, I think it's more than one dog involved. I don't know the length of time. Discussion with somebody said, well, she remembered when she was out there working, the person would come along during the week, and it's like he was vetting to see what was there and then come back on the weekend. So,
don't misunderstand. Right now, I'm not pointing the finger at you and jumping up and down and yelling, but we have at Animal Control a history of mistaken euthanasia. We have bestiality, and now we have selling animals on Craigslist. Mike, what the hell?
Well, and that's what we posed to Dr. Wilson. And Dr. Wilson, I can tell you this, when he called me last week, he was very, very, very frustrated. And he's ready for some complete resolve out there. And it just so happened that we had someone scheduled coming from out of town from Kansas City to kind of do a walkthrough on the shelter, and that happened Tuesday. We had just a short debriefing from him Tuesday afternoon, and Dr. Wilson's reaching out to him and asking him, please come help us and see what we need to do and help us get things better out here.
Mike,
and
let me ask you this.
Let me just say this. RFPs are going out for in 501c that wants to take over it and do a privatization. The RFPs are being prepared.
Okay. There's going to be the folks in the community that are going to say it can't be one person, one guy going in there who's working there and getting that other people have to know these dogs are logged in, they're tracked, there's cameras. How can no one else not have known this was going on?
Are they logged in or are they not logged in? How do we know that for sure? And that's what the investigation needs to bring about. And also, in a couple weeks, the cameras should be live and 24/7, 365 with 1 year backup. We'll be able to trace these things down, what's going on. And this is supposed to be door-to-door, gate-to-gate coverage that's going to get us that. Then we can go back and do, investigations when allegations are raised like this.
And this is, I would assume, this is a crime like at my work. At the animal shelter, the dog is property. Well, if I come in my work and I pick up a computer and I sell it on Craigslist, it's theft. Is that what we're talking now? The crime would be theft? You were a deputy for years.
Yeah, many years. Yeah, it's theft. It's going to fall under 1467, I feel like, which, it's many things under theft. But, you start on this one. If he's taking something in that's not his, and it could be just a misappropriation, which is theft. And so that's what all has to be looked at. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not talking to anyone about anything since last Thursday, when I was as early as I could get in with the investigator on it, because he'd been in training early part of the week, although he was aware of it. And so I really don't, I've not spoken with anyone since then. And that's with intentional that I do that, because I don't want them to, I have this relationship. Okay, yes, sheriff's office for 36 years, and then also I'm commissioner too. So they understood I was coming to them as a commissioner and not as a deputy sheriff. Mm-hmm. And so I need to, like any other citizen, I got to let the investigation play out.
1017 FM, 710 Keel. Traffic update for Friday morning. Here's Ruben.
Looks like I-49 South's got it clear all the way to Alexandria right now, but look out later on this morning for some traffic delays on I-220 eastbound near North Market due to construction. If you have any accidents, hazards, or closures to report to us, please give us a call at our Planet Fitness traffic hotline. That's 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather.com forecast. Sun and some clouds today. Very warm and humid, high 92. Mainly clear, low 70 tonight. Sunshine, high 93 tomorrow. With your AccuWeather.com forecast, I'm meteorologist Heather Zaire.
Good morning. It's 22 past 6, 1017 FM and 710 Keel. Big day for high school football and other stuff. Here's Fletch.
Good morning from the sports desk of 1130 The Tiger. This is Tim Fletcher. The Mansfield Wolverines rode a big night from backup quarterback Brandon Adams to a 42-20 non-district win over Green Oaks at Jerry Burton Memorial Stadium Thursday night. Adams threw 3 touchdown passes and racked up 220 yards through the air and ran for an additional 101 yards. Travis DeWitt caught 2 of Adams' scoring tosses and accumulated 124 yards receiving. Green Oaks' 10 turnovers contributed mightily to the loss. At Independence Stadium, Woodlawn's Travinsky Mosley ran for 215 yards to power Woodlawn to a 43-8 win over BTW. The Knights also got a big night from quarterback Kentrez Roby, who threw 3 touchdown passes. All stats from last night's games, courtesy of the Shreveport Times. Darius Geis told LSU head coach Ed Orgeron that he felt better and wanted to practice before Thursday's workout. Orgeron said the star running back practiced well and will start Saturday night at home against Syracuse, one day after the head coach said Geis would miss the non-conference game. Former Evangel and Louisiana Tech star Trent Taylor caught his first NFL touchdown pass last night for the 49ers in a 41-39 loss to the Los Angeles Rams. Taylor was also flagged for offensive pass interference on a third down conversion around midfield after San Francisco had recovered an onside kick following their last touchdown. Replays showed very little contact from Taylor, but the penalty set the winless Niners back to 3rd and 20, and they failed to convert over the next 2 plays. Rams second-year QB Jared Goff threw for 292 yards, 3 touchdowns, and running back Todd Gurley accounted for 3 touchdowns as the Rams improved to 2-1. From the sports desk of 1130 The Tiger, this is Tim Fletcher.
Good morning, 625. Oops. 25 past 6, 1017 FM, 710 Keel. Robert J. Wright and Erin McCarty. You're waving around these pictures, these photographs you took yesterday.
Oh, man.
Where did you go? What did you do? You were talking all day yesterday. I got lunch. I have lunch plans.
I went to the Shreveport Scottish Rite, the temple there on Cotton Street.
Explain to me about that.
100 years. They're celebrating 100 years. This building, you know where it is. It's right there at the corner of Common and Cotton. And it's been the oldest building in downtown Shreveport that's been owned by the same people all this time.
Right.
And I'm going to tell you, they had a lunch for the media. We took a tour. We got to go behind the scenes.
Well, tell me about it.
Into the cloakroom.
What is the Scottish Rite Temple?
They are the Masonic Lodge. That's the home for all of the Masonic lodges where people become Masons.
Like Freemasons.
Yes, we got to go into some of the secret areas. We got to go behind the stage.
Why do they have secret areas?
Well, they do a lot of secret things when you're, what is it? It's not inducted. But one thing that was...
Like what?
They wouldn't tell me. It's a secret.
Oh.
It's a secret.
Okay.
But walking down the halls, you go into the lobby and all the pictures of these top Masons are out there. And they told me all the guys in the lobby, these are guys still living. And then you go into the hall, all these halls that they take you through, and there's pictures going back to like 1917.
Mm-hmm.
It's amazing to see all these guys.
I have never been inside that building.
Oh, I'm telling you, you need to get with a local Mason and go down there and tour this place. The cathedral part, where they actually rent it out for weddings. I mean, I'm already going to book my wedding there. That's where I'm going to get married.
So let's see if I've got this right. Just to update everybody on your wedding plans.
Yes.
So now you have a location.
I do. I have a location.
And the Vosbury kid, Cole Vosbury's
going to sing.
Has already agreed to sing at your wedding.
Yes.
And he said, when's the wedding? And Erin said, this is what Cole said a couple of years ago when he sang in this very studio.
Yes, he did.
And he was awesome. And Erin says, I want you to sing at my wedding. He said, I'll do that. When is it? And she said, probably a couple of years after I meet the guy.
Yes, I haven't met him yet.
And well, that clock's ticking. No, it's going to happen.
The funny thing, and you'll appreciate this, because one of the guys there was a 33rd degree Mason, which is like the highest you can go. The best hat you get and all that stuff. And his name was Ed.
The best hat you get?
Their hats are awesome. I got to try on some hats, and I just had a great time. But I asked Ed, I turned to Ed, and we were back in the lobby after the tour.
What did the hat look like, just as an aside?
Oh, well, I called it a beanie. They didn't really appreciate that. I don't think they call it a beanie.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Well, you'll never be a Knights Templar now.
No, I'm out. I'm out. Da Vinci Code and me were ixnay. But we're out in the lobby, and I talked to, and Ed and I had a pretty decent rapport, and I said, Ed, your picture's out here in the lobby. He said, yep. And I said, well, that's pretty cool. You're going to be out here in the lobby. He said, yep. And one of the other guys chimed in, and he said, yeah, every time Ed comes to a meeting, we ask him how he's doing. He says, still hanging in the lobby. Because, see, in the lobby, those are the living guys.
But
still hanging in the lobby.
I got you.
I'm like, that's pretty cool.
So they treated you well, and you had a fascinating day.
Oh, this building is extraordinary. The marble and the wood detail.
How old is the building itself?
I think it's 100+ years. I'm not sure exactly.
Well, if they've been there for 100, yeah.
The cathedral was completed on July 1, 1917.
29 past 6 o'clock. This will be on, you're going to post about this later? You're going to put this on the Keel News website?
Yes, I'm going to put it up. It just, extraordinary.
29 past 6 o'clock. Local news up next right now. Friday morning traffic. Here comes Ruben on Keel.
It is once again the best time of day to get from A to B because everything is all clear for your early morning drive to work or school. But look out later on this morning for some traffic delays on North Market near North Hearn Avenue. If you have anything to report to us, please give us a call at our Planet Fitness traffic hotline. That's 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather.com forecast. Very warm and humid today. Sun and some clouds with a high of 92. Mainly clear, low 70 tonight. Sunshine, high 93 for tomorrow. With your AccuWeather.com forecast, I'm meteorologist Heather Zare.
information. KEEL News now.
School board stands with student prayer. Matt Parker has that.
Despite pressure from a national group, the Bossier Parish School Board has voted to keep student prayer at graduation ceremonies. The board received a letter from the group Americans United for Separation of Church and State that asked Bossier to keep prayer and religious sermons from their future graduation ceremonies. The district's legal team is drafting a response letter that says the nonprofit's letter contained factual errors and that the law is on the students and school board's side. From 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL, I'm Matt Parker.
An investigation continues at the Caddo Animal Shelter after at least one worker is accused of selling a dog online. We asked Caddo Commissioner Mike Middleton if the practice of logging dogs into the books is being followed.
Are they logged in or are they not logged in? How do we know that for sure? And that's what the investigation needs to bring about. And also, in a couple weeks, the cameras should be live and 24/7, 365 with 1 year backup. We'll be able to trace these things down, what's going on. And this is supposed to be door-to-door, gate-to-gate coverage.
Middleton says investigators suspect this might not be a one-time occurrence. A bookkeeper busted for stealing cash. Laurie Johnson arrested for allegedly stealing nearly $500,000 from her employer. According to the sheriff, Johnson worked for the Greater Shreveport-Bossier Auto Auction and was using her job to take money and cover up her actions. She's also accused of helping another employee conceal thefts. Johnson's illegal activity was caught during an audit by a new accountant. The Caddo Commission delays voting on a new fence. Sheriff Steve Prater has asked for the fence around the courthouse.
If I was just crazy and wanted to shoot somebody, the place to do it's there. They don't have guns in there. Nobody gonna shoot you back.
Caddo Commission voted 8-3 to delay making a final decision on putting a fence around the courthouse. Big celebration for the Scottish Rite, celebrating 100 years of the Scottish Rite Cathedral in downtown Shreveport. Congrats to all the guys. The building on Cotton Street, the oldest building in downtown Shreveport that has never changed ownership. The eye of Hurricane Maria nearing the Turks and Caicos early today as Puerto Rico tries to recover from the storm's devastation. President Trump has added economic action to his fiery military threats against North Korea. The president has authorized stiffer new sanctions. The governor and First Lady Donna Edwards encouraging schools to participate in the Breakfast Challenge to help reduce childhood hunger. Donna Edwards says schools that take action and make sure youngsters eat breakfast can win up to $1,000 in cash and other prizes.
It's an easy thing for us just to come. It starts with the superintendents all the way down. So I really am reaching out and begging our superintendents to grab a hold of this program.
Despite cuts to TOPS, more students are going to college in our state this year than last. Centenary saw their largest number of new incoming students since 2011. LSUS saw a 24% jump in enrollment. The Mormon church-owned Brigham Young University has ended a 6-decade ban on the sale of caffeinated soft drinks on campus, surprising students by posting a picture of a can of Coca-Cola on Twitter and just 2 words, "It's happening." Partly cloudy today with the high temp near 92, right now 75. I'm Erin McCarty on 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL.
The KEEL studio is powered by
1017 FM, 710 Keel. Robert and Erin, 636 in the studio for a couple of seconds. Mr. Brian Moore from the El Caruba Shrine Circus, which is this weekend, I'm thinking. Tell me more, my friend.
Hey, our 71st El Caruba Shrine Circus is this weekend at CenturyLink Center. We've got 6 great shows, one Friday night at 7:30 tonight.
Okay.
Tomorrow it starts at 11, 3, and 7, and 7:30, I'm sorry. And then Sunday is 2 and 6.
Now, A, this is an awesome show, but B, and more important, is the, I don't want to say charity, but the Shriner that this funds. Tell us about that.
Right. The circus this weekend, we've got all kinds of acts, aerial acts. We got the Chicago Boys. They were finalists on 2015 America's Got Talents. We've got elephant, tigers, lions, everything you'd like to see in a circus.
I love those trapeze acts and all that. This is so much fun. But the money from the circus, and the ticket prices are like $12. I mean, it's cheap.
Yeah, tickets are $10 for children, $20 for adults. If you go around town and these gas stations, you can find a coupon. Kids get in free with the parent buying a general admission ticket. This is a fraternal fundraiser. We do different events throughout the year. We have a special needs dance in the spring, which is huge for us. We invite about 300 children that sign up early for that. And, I mean, it is really great, that show. We also have a Easter egg hunt that is open to the public also. But we do several events throughout the year. You know, with the Shriners, it's all about the children.
And while you're at the circus, if you go, buy the popcorn and the cotton candy, because that also raises a lot of money. And you guys are out, and you're the ones selling it.
This year, in the past, the concessions have been handled by other groups, but this year we're going to be making cotton candy and snow cones.
Oh, awesome.
Okay,
Shrine Circus.
So just to review, shows tonight, El Caruba Shrine Circus, CenturyLink Center tonight. What time?
Tonight at 7:30.
And then tomorrow?
11, 3, and 7:30.
Okay.
Going to be fun. I've been to many of them, and they are the best.
Well, you both work without a net. 638, 1017 FM, 710 Keel. What did...
He's coming.
Rubens... Okay.
We're going to have the best haunted story from
just
Shreveport
hold
Bossier
on just a couple
you
of
have
seconds.
ever heard.
Right now, Ruben's got traffic updates coming up now on Keel.
Everything's still running nice and smooth for your early morning drive to work or school, but look out later on this morning for some traffic delays on East Texas Street near Airline Drive in Bossier City. If you know something we don't, accidents, hazards, or closures, give us a call at our Planet Fitness traffic hotline, 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather.com forecast. Sun and some clouds today. Very warm and humid, high 92. Mainly clear, low 70 tonight. Sunshine, high 93 tomorrow. With your AccuWeather.com forecast, I'm meteorologist Heather Zare.
Good morning. It's 641. Robert J. Wright and Erin McCarty. It's 1017 FM and 710 Keel. Okay, so about 75 or 100, maybe 150 times a morning, I introduce now traffic. Here's Rapid Ruben. Well, Ruben's last name is Wright, no relation.
Right.
That's what he says to everybody anyway.
He's joining us for a couple of seconds because You ask all the questions.
I appreciate you coming out of the helicopter and coming and joining us.
You are so, it's just a big drone, sort of like you on the weekends. So you are so fascinated by this kind of stuff.
You know how many haunted places I've been to.
Okay, so start from the very beginning. And what's going on at?
Where is your house? I mean, and you're not going to give us the address. But
No.
Shreveport, Bossier.
I live in Shreveport on Uri Drive.
Okay.
In an apartment.
Okay.
So
and you
that probably narrows it down.
You have haunted things happening.
Yeah. My wife first started noticing them. I'm not very observant. I'm just not. But the first thing that we both saw together was the sink came on while we were sleeping.
No, it did not.
In the bathroom. The sink came
The water came on.
And I'm not talking like it just was dripping. It was all the way on.
Like somebody's in there brushing their teeth.
Right.
You live there, just you and your wife?
Yeah, for a couple of years now.
You don't have a guest that was visiting? Or
no, we have
a cat that could accidentally...
I mean, we have cats, but it's one of those you have to grab and turn, not that
cats
you
don't
can...
Ruben, the water didn't just come on.
I mean, that's what it appeared to be.
Wow.
That's where it started.
Okay,
Anyways.
and then how far did it go from there?
A little later, probably some weeks.
How long ago did this happen with the water?
Now, this is around when we first moved in. So this was probably a couple of months after we first moved into the apartment. So this is going back,
say, maybe 20 months.
Right. It's been a while. And then the next thing that I personally saw that happened was the light in the closet turned off. And I went in there, and I've done electrical work before. You know, my family has a business in Minden. We've done electrical work. So I go in there, I start piddling around, and then I turn around, and the switch is off. So
and you're 10 feet away from it.
Yeah, and I turn it back on, and the light comes on just fine. All right, weird, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
A little while later, I'm watching my wife walk through the kitchen, nowhere near the fridge, and we have little cans of cat food because we have an older cat. And one of those cans comes flying off the fridge onto the floor about 4 feet away.
She's nowhere near the fridge.
No,
you're
not
nowhere
opening
near
the fridge. I'm in the living room.
Pardon me, when you say, settle down there, Perry Mason. When you say flying, you don't mean just like they were stacked on top and they could have accidentally tipped over.
No.
You're talking like flew as if I tossed one in Erin's direction.
As if you put your hand on it and slid it off the top of the fridge with just about everything you had, just flung it.
So, have you found a new place to live yet? Are you getting out of there?
My wife has contacted a priest. She's totally freaked out. My thing, of course, is to just ignore it.
Right.
That's, and you hear in all these ghost stories, like it's always the husband who's, he's always like, no, it's no big deal. And then until the crosses in the house start inverting and you start hearing backwards rock music playing and stuff like that.
So is this a bad ghost or just kind of a mischievous? You're not sure yet.
I have no idea. I mean, again, my wife's more into it than I am. But of course, the other day I'm cooking and the exact same thing happens with the cat food in the fridge. I'm next to the stove. I hear splat on the floor, and it's a can of the cat food.
Wife's not in the room.
Nobody's home.
So how many?
I'm home by myself when that happened.
How? You're freaking me out.
I am.
How many instances of inexplicable occurrences of these physical?
Now, my wife has seen more than I have. Mostly.
So if you had to estimate over the past, say, 2 years, how many things?
At least one weird thing a month, I'd say.
Really?
Yeah.
And so to the point that you are seeking, let me phrase this delicately, expert help.
Yes. Yeah.
And as
who do you call, Ruben?
Well, an Episcopal priest for one. Me and my wife are Episcopalian, so she went there.
So what did the guy say? Assuming it's a guy, because it could be a female priest.
Apparently, he deals. And again, I'm not going to name names or anything, but he deals with this kind of thing a lot.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Which is what freaked me. I didn't talk to him.
Wait, stop. Hold on a second. What did the priest say?
He went on and on. I mean, again, I didn't talk to him. My wife talked to him, and he said, we'll come over there. He said him and a few other people will come over there and do I guess this ritual type thing, which I'm probably not going to be there for. Have you ever seen The Exorcist?
Yeah.
It's gonna, my luck,
Yeah.
it's gonna come into me, and I'm gonna jump out the window.
Yeah, you got toenails that need clipping, you'll be gone, right?
I'll be washing my hair.
I want to know, because everybody will say you can usually trace these to something. I'm sure you've asked your neighbors, did somebody die in this apartment?
We asked one of our older neighbors, and the apartments have been around since the 60s, so it wouldn't be unusual right off the bat for someone to have died there. But one of our older neighbors specifically remembers an older man passing away in that house, or in our little townhouse there.
Cat hater.
Right, probably.
Yeah.
Do your animals notice anything
Now,
weird?
that's another, our older cat always looks like or every now and then you'll look at her and she's following something across the room with her eyes. Like, it's...
Oh, have you tried to take like pictures to see if you get any kind of weird orbs
No,
or anything?
again, my thing is to ignore it.
And Erin on a couple of her ghost hunts, and I'm being serious now, going back to our 94.5 and KVKI days.
Right.
She would go on a couple of ghost hunts with a fellow used to be in town, and the house you went into, the Highland House, where you said there was the you could really feel the room get colder.
Yes.
Is there anything, and that's what you read about ghosts all the time and spirits, man, it got cold in here and you can see your breath, anything like that?
I don't remember specifically any temperature changes, but my wife says she always feels like she's being watched, which I don't get those types of feelings. If someone is actually watching me, I don't even feel like I'm being watched.
But this goes to this, I hate to say this, but pretend like he's not in the room. I hope this ghost hadn't touched him yet. Because, they do eventually, they can touch you. You can feel them touch you.
Right, and I've heard nothing from me, anyways. But yeah, well, the last thing that happened
looks like the ghost is straight,
and I didn't. Yeah, yeah, no, nothing for me, anyways. And if it happened to my wife, she's not talking. But but the last thing that happened that I wasn't there for, my wife was there. We had been up and down the hallway all night, and one of the kids' toys ended up in the middle of the hall, in the middle of the floor. And
So
it wasn't something, and it wasn't something that the cats could have even moved.
Right.
On
a scale of 1 to 10, I have my deposit. I have the moving van loaded. 10 being I'm out. How close is your wife to getting out of there?
I don't know. If this thing with the priest doesn't work, it's probably going to be about a 9.5.
But you'll keep us updated, right?
Right. I'll keep you updated on everything that goes on.
6:49. In the meantime,
back to the chopper.
Back to the chopper.
Wear a helmet. 6:49, 101.7 FM, 710 Keel traffic. Right now, here's Ruben.
Looks like I-49 South's got it clear all the way to Alexandria right now, but look out later on this morning for some traffic delays on I-220 eastbound near North Market due to construction. If you have any accidents, hazards, or closures to report to us, please give us a call at our Planet Fitness traffic hotline. That's 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather.com forecast. Sun and some clouds today. Very warm and humid, high 92. Mainly clear, low 70 tonight. Sunshine, high 93 tomorrow. With your AccuWeather.com forecast, I'm meteorologist Heather Zare.
It is 8 from 7 o'clock, 101.7 FM, 710 Keel. Here's Tim.
Good morning from the sports desk of 1130 The Tiger. This is Tim Fletcher. The Mansfield Wolverines rode a big night from backup quarterback Brandon Adams to a 42-20 non-district win over Green Oaks at Jerry Burton Memorial Stadium Thursday night. Adams threw 3 touchdown passes and racked up 220 yards through the air and ran for an additional 101 yards. Travis DeWitt caught 2 of Adams' scoring tosses and accumulated 124 yards receiving. Green Oaks' 10 turnovers contributed mightily to the loss. At Independence Stadium, Woodlawn's Stravinsky Mosley ran for 215 yards to power Woodlawn to a 43-8 win over BTW. The Knights also got a big night from quarterback Kentrez Roby, who threw 3 touchdown passes. All stats from last night's games, courtesy of the Shreveport Times. Darius Geis told LSU head coach Ed Orgeron that he felt better and wanted to practice before Thursday's workout. Orgeron said the star running back practiced well and will start Saturday night at home against Syracuse, one day after the head coach said Geis would miss the non-conference game. Former Evangel and Louisiana Tech star Trent Taylor caught his first NFL touchdown pass last night for the 49ers in a 41-39 loss to the Los Angeles Rams. Taylor was also flagged for offensive pass interference on a third down conversion around midfield after San Francisco had recovered an onside kick following their last touchdown. Replays showed very little contact from Taylor, but the penalty set the winless Niners back to 3rd and 20, and they failed to convert over the next 2 plays. Rams second-year QB Jared Goff threw for 292 yards, 3 touchdowns, and running back Todd Gurley accounted for 3 touchdowns as the Rams improved to 2-1. From the sports desk of 1130 The Tiger, this is Tim Fletcher.
It is 6:55, 101.7 FM and 710 Keel. Robert J. Wright and Erin McCarty, Sheriff Steve Prater at 10 past 7 o'clock. Going to build a fence around the courthouse.
He wants to. The commission said no, not yet.
Really?
Yeah.
I misunderstood. I thought they'd given him the thumbs
No, Kemosabe.
up on that.
No.
And then what are his feelings about this dog selling investigation?
Yeah, we'll see how much he knows about that.
There is, and Mike Middleton, so, we got to go. We'll talk about this more when we get back. Man, oh man, there's so much to do today. 6:56, here's Rush on Keel.
On Wednesday, Barack Hussein vented about Senate attempts to repeal Obamacare. He was speaking in New York. He said, "When I see people trying to undo that hard-won progress for the 50th or 60th time, it's aggravating." Obama claimed that if Republicans were successful, It would raise the cost of health care. It would reduce coverage, and it would roll back protections for vulnerable Americans. It's certainly frustrating, he said, to have to mobilize every couple of months to keep our leaders from inflicting real human suffering on our constituents. Yeah, Mr. Obama, it is aggravating to go through the effort to repeal Obamacare again. The bill to get rid of it should have been put on Trump's desk to be signed his first week in office. Nobody is more frustrated than the voters who sent Republicans to Congress year after year to get rid of it. Now, aside from that, seriously, Mr. Obama, you have the audacity to issue warnings about reduced health care coverage and rising costs. Obamacare is why Americans face out-of-control prices now. It's why millions could not keep their doctors or their plans they like, despite all of your false promises. Zero credibility, Mr. Obama. That's what you have when it comes to health care. You and your party are the ones responsible for inflicting real human suffering on the country. There's no other way to look at it. It is an honor and privilege to own land. Caring for land has its own cost. So my good friends at Mahindra are lessening the burden on landowners by offering the biggest savings of the year during the Mahindra Inventory Clearance Sale. That's right, you can enjoy special cash back and savings on the toughest tractors and utility vehicles on Earth. And every penny you save on your Mahindra can be invested right back into your land. It's really the most affordable way to care for the land you love. Get a new tractor or UTV at a rock-bottom price, plus the industry's best warranty. It's a win-win. So get your work done, America, and learn more about inventory clearance savings on the world's #1 selling tractor at MahindraUSA.com.
Take advantage of rock-bottom prices and test drive a Mahindra today at Kelly Tractor and Equipment in Longview, or visit kellytractor.net. That's kellytractor.net.
Looking right now at some slow-moving traffic on Grimmett Drive near North Hearn Avenue, and we have some traffic delays on Benton Road just north of East Texas Street in Bossier City. If you have anything to report to us, please give us a call at our Planet Fitness traffic hotline. That's 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather.com forecast. Sun and some clouds today. Very warm and humid, high 92. Mainly clear, low 70 tonight. Sunshine, high 93 tomorrow. With your AccuWeather.com forecast, I'm meteorologist Heather Zaire.
Breaking news and trending talk. This is 1017 FM and 710 KEEL. KEEL, Shreveport. The KEEL Morning Show.
.703 Robert and Erin, 1017 FM and 710 KEEL. Oh, it's right in front of me. Erin has local news up next.
Bookkeeper accused of stealing $500,000. College enrollment numbers still climbing. That's good news. And the fight over prayer in schools in Bossier Parish.
Caddo Sheriff Steve Prater in less than 15 minutes. We need the fence, but does he need more investigations? In this case, like looking into the Caddo Parish Animal Shelter. Matt is very disturbed about this Uber story. There is an update, by the way. We'll tell you just, all the latest. Plus Fletcher in sports and traffic and weather, and it's all coming up this hour right here on KEEL.
KEEL Morning Report. Now on 1017 FM and 710 KEEL.
Bookkeeper busted for stealing money. Matt Parker has our update.
Lori Johnson has been arrested for allegedly stealing nearly $500,000 from her employer. According to Caddo Sheriff Steve Prater, Johnson worked for the Greater Shreveport-Bossier Auto Auction and was using her position to take money and cover up her actions. She is also accused of helping another employee conceal their thefts. Johnson's illegal activity was caught during an audit by a new company accountant. From 1017 FM and 710 KEEL, I'm Matt Parker.
Caddo Commission votes 8-3 to delay making a final decision on putting a fence around the courthouse. A final decision on whether or not to put up the fence may not come until 2018. Despite cuts to TOPS funding, more students are going to college in our state this year than last. Centenary saw their largest number of new incoming students since 2011. LSUS saw a 24% jump in enrollment. A federal bankruptcy judge has ordered Glow Airlines to begin selling pieces of its company to repay debts. Fly Glow LLC filed for bankruptcy earlier this year, but we're back in the air quickly. However, according to NOLA.com, the continued process has not gone the way Glow had hoped. Reports that the summer had been filled up with accusations from all sides that deals reached in the courts have not held up. Despite pressure from a national group, the Bossier School Board votes to keep student prayer at graduation ceremonies. The board got a letter from the group Americans United for Separation of Church and State that asked Bossier to keep prayer and religious sermons from their future graduation ceremonies. The district's legal team is drafting a response letter that says the nonprofit's letter contained factual errors and that the law is on the students' and school board side. DOTD hoping the major overlay project on I-20 in Webster Parish will wrap up around the Thanksgiving weekend. Spokesperson Erin Buchanan says the $29 million project to improve nearly 10 miles of interstate kicked off in January. She says crews removed the surface of existing pavement, which is called cold plain.
You do that to remove any of that old bumpy surface that so many people are familiar with on parts of I-20. And by doing that, you prolong the life of the roadway.
The westbound lanes are complete. Contractors are now working on the eastbound side. LSU football coach Ed Orgeron promising a better performance tomorrow night when the Tigers host Syracuse. The Bayou Bengals suffered their worst loss ever to Mississippi State in a 37-7 drubbing. Coach O says he's on a mission for his team to play better.
I'm going to get this team right. We're going to continue. We're going to stay the course. We're going to take it one game at a time. But I can totally understand their disappointment. I can totally understand their frustration. This is not LSU football, and that's not what we came here for, but we're going to get it fixed.
By the way, running back Darius Geis has been cleared to play after all. A survey by Offers.com took a look at the top tailgating trends around the country and finds Louisiana ranks number 7 for drinking the most alcohol on game days. Carson Yarborough says the average tailgater in Louisiana consumes an average of 4 drinks per game. She says 53% of Americans prefer watching NFL games at home, and 60% would rather tailgate at a college game.
And over 80% of Louisianans prefer college tailgates, so y'all must have some really awesome college tailgates down there.
She also says they found tailgating fans in our region prefer burgers, while most Americans prefer wings. North Korean leader Kim Jong-un, in an extraordinary and direct rebuke, called President Trump deranged and said he will pay dearly for his threats. And a Wisconsin mom went on a profanity-laced tirade against her 14-year-old son for burning the popcorn. And now the Wisconsin Supreme Court is trying to decide if her foul mouth is free speech. She was charged with disorderly conduct after her son called the police. Partly cloudy, 92 for the high today. Right now, 76. I'm Erin McCarty on 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL.
Nine past 7 o'clock, it's 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL. Friday morning traffic. Here's Ruben.
The intersection at Kings Highway and Linwood Avenue is dealing with some slow-moving traffic right now. And those school zone lights are on and the school buses are out. Please use caution when driving around the school zones. If you have anything to report to us, accidents, hazards, or closures, give us a call at our Planet Fitness Traffic Hotline, 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather.com forecast. Sun and some clouds today. Very warm and humid, high 92. Mainly clear, low 70 tonight. Sunshine, high 93 tomorrow. With your AccuWeather.com forecast, I'm meteorologist Heather Zaire.
It's 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL. Robert J. Wright and Erin McCarty. Don't forget you can download the KEEL app. It's absolutely free, and it is presented by Office Furniture Source. It's 12 after 7 o'clock. Sheriff Steve Prater is standing by. Hey, Mr. Steve, how are you today?
I'm doing fine, thank you.
Well, let me see. I'm going to say that this whole courthouse grounds controversy sort of came to the public's attention when we had the video not so long ago of the young woman, I don't know how young she was, defecating on the courthouse grounds. And you had mentioned at the time, although this had been going on before and since, that the courthouse grounds, in your opinion, we need a fence around those grounds. Since that instance of the now infamous video, have there been further infiltrations of the courthouse grounds? What's the status? Because I know you feel just as strongly about the fence as ever.
Yes, the main thing about the fence is to give us some kind of barrier which to enforce some kind of closing hours, because right now you have 24-hour access to what's supposed to be the most secure building, or one of the most secure buildings in the whole parish. And you can go right up to the steps, you can look in the windows, you can put things in the bushes, and it's just, that's the purpose of the fence. The ordinance also needs to be passed where, and I'm a huge gun guy, everybody knows that, I got more guns than I even want to talk about. But I don't think it's fair to make sure everybody in the building doesn't have guns, and in the courtrooms and all that. And then it's kind of like they walk down the steps and everybody out there legally has guns. At least we could give them a running chance. At least they could get to the fence.
Mr. Steve, you are head of local Homeland Security. And you just mentioned something a couple of seconds ago that I think goes beyond concerns about homeless people on the grounds. And you said...
Oh, it's much more than that.
You said just a second ago, I want you to talk about this. You said anybody can walk up to the courthouse and put anything in the bushes. What are your concerns?
Well, we found guns in the bushes. We have found all sorts of things in the bushes all around there. You can hide right there in the bushes. You can hide around the corner. It's a terrible location. There's dead spots that you can just actually walk downstairs and be crouched down and waiting for somebody to come out of the courtroom. And to let you legally have a gun right there just doesn't make sense when you couldn't legally carry the gun inside the door. There's those sorts of things. There's the homeless part. People, I get people call up and say, oh, you don't like guns. Well, I do like guns, but I just don't think it's fair, and I don't want guns on property where we got to protect like that. And also the homeless situation, it's just nasty down there. If anybody drive by, they would see what I'm talking about before they have an opinion. Come down there just drive down there one evening and see the people camped out on benches and all the trash on the lawn and all that. But that's, it's the commission's got their own, I've dealt with, that's my business is mysteries, trying to figure things out, and this is a mystery to me.
Yeah, the 8-3 vote, any idea why they don't want to move forward now? Is it a money issue?
Well, Lewis Johnson was not he had to leave early, and I think it would have been a 4 vote. But I don't know, and it's now they want a assessment done. We've had 3 assessments done so far over the years, and if they don't trust me with all the experience that I have, then maybe they need to reconsider who they appointed as the Homeland Security Director. Nobody knows that building, nobody knows that courthouse, and nobody knows what's going on down there more than I do.
Mr. Steve, as they vote 8-3 to study this further, but I know that I know that you talk to these guys on the council, or you talk to guys who know the guys. What are you hearing sort of behind the scenes? What are the objections that you're hearing maybe secondhand?
Well, some of the objections are the homeless. Like we have one commissioner that is wanting to spend over $100,000 on a portalet down there that cleans itself so that these folks can take showers. And that's great if they want to do that, and that's fine. But I think the courthouse is for the people. It's not for the homeless people. And it's they're welcome to be around there, but it's got to be sanitary. I wouldn't take my kids down there. Like when I was younger, my parents took me down there. We'd feed the squirrels and do all that stuff. Now, that's ridiculous. That I would say that never happens now.
Have you studied anything? Have other courthouses had to put up fences, or we can't be alone?
Well, yes, some have. I've been reading about the different ones that have had the homeless problem and put up fences for that to keep people from camping out over there. But the main problem that I see, the biggest problem, is that we need closing hours so to secure the building from somebody going up and putting explosives. We've had people go up and pour cooking oil all over the steps We got videos of that, and we'd have to clean it up. They did it 2 or 3 times. They've gone up and vandalized the place. They've hidden guns in there. I mean, no center of justice should be open 24 hours a day right outside the doors like that where we can't secure it. You know, if we had a whole bevy of people that were down there camping out, I mean, picnicking on the lunch grounds, you know, and doing that sort of thing all weekend in the evenings, and there were little bands and all that sort of thing, that'd be different. But that is not the environment we have down there.
Have you talked to the judges and the legal community and the folks that work in the courthouse? How do they feel about their building being behind a fence?
Oh, I didn't ask them how they felt about it, because my job is not to do what's popular. My job is to do what's necessary to keep things to the safety and health of the citizens of Caddo Parish is my primary responsibility.
Excuse me, Mr.
regardless
Steve,
of how popular it might be.
Let me rephrase Erin's question. She said, how do they feel about their building being behind a fence? Let me rephrase the question. How do they feel about there being human waste all over the place they work?
Well, I'm going to let them talk about that. You know, I'm not going to put words in their mouth. I know how. I can just imagine how I would feel. I know how the commission workers that have to, when they come to work, have to go down there and clean it up. I know how they feel. I've talked to them, and I know that there's a number of them inside that would like. I mean, it's bad enough. We've got the judge's parking lot that's fenced in, and yet we don't want to. And when you say fenced in, we're talking about a very nice-looking, short, wrought iron fence or whatever they choose. It's not going to look like a prison. It's not going to have cyclone fencing and razor ribbon at the top. It's going to look good. And there's Jackson Square, some of the other places that I mean, that looks fine. You have several points of entrance and egress and whatever the other word is. And I can't figure out why, either vote it up or down.
How disappointed are you with yesterday's vote?
Well, I'm really, it gets to I'm a grown man, and it gets to an ego thing when they say, we don't trust what you're saying. We want to get something else, another opinion. And so that kind of hurts my feelings, but I'll get over that. And I wish everybody well, and if they want a second opinion or third opinion or fourth opinion, that's fine. I'm still the sheriff and Homeland Security Director. I'll do what I think needs to be done, and they'll do what they need to be done. But wasting money on a $100,000 portalette and shower system down there is just going to do nothing but increase some of the problems that we have at nighttime and on weekends.
Caddo Sheriff Steve Prater, thank you for your time this morning.
You're quite welcome.
Mm-hmm.
19 past 7 o'clock, 101.7 FM, 710 Keel. Sports just ahead. Fletcher standing by right now. Ruben, traffic time.
Shreveport-Barksdale Highway near Knight Street's dealing with some slow-moving traffic right now. And we have some traffic delays on Airline Drive, just north of Shed Road in Bossier City. If you have anything to report to us, please let us know at our Planet Fitness traffic hotline. That's 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather.com forecast. Very warm and humid today. Sun and some clouds with a high of 92. Mainly clear, low 70 tonight. Sunshine, high 93 for tomorrow. With your AccuWeather.com forecast, I'm meteorologist Heather Zaire.
You probably pay too much.
.1017 FM, 710 Keel, time for sports.
Good morning from the sports desk of 1130 The Tiger. This is Tim Fletcher. The Mansfield Wolverines rode a big night from backup quarterback Brandon Adams to a 42-20 non-district win over Green Oaks at Jerry Burton Memorial Stadium Thursday night. Adams threw 3 touchdown passes and racked up 220 yards through the air and ran for an additional 101 yards. Travis DeWitt caught 2 of Adams' scoring tosses and accumulated 124 yards receiving. Green Oaks' 10 turnovers contributed mightily to the loss. At Independence Stadium, Woodlawn's Travinsky Mosley ran for 215 yards to power Woodlawn to a 43-8 win over BTW. The Knights also got a big night from quarterback Kentrez Roby, who threw 3 touchdown passes. All stats from last night's games, courtesy of the Shreveport Times. Darius Geis told LSU head coach Ed Orgeron that he felt better and wanted to practice before Thursday's workout. Orgeron said the star running back practiced well and will start Saturday night at home against Syracuse, one day after the head coach said Geis would miss the non-conference game. Former Evangel and Louisiana Tech star Trent Taylor caught his first NFL touchdown pass last night for the 49ers in a 41-39 loss to the Los Angeles Rams. Taylor was also flagged for offensive pass interference on a third down conversion around midfield after San Francisco had recovered an onside kick following their last touchdown. Replays showed very little contact from Taylor, but the penalty set the winless Niners back to 3rd and 20, and they failed to convert over the next 2 plays. Rams second-year QB Jared Goff threw for 292 yards, 3 touchdowns, and running back Todd Gurley accounted for 3 touchdowns as the Rams improved to 2-1. From the sports desk of 1130 The Tiger, this is Tim Fletcher.
Robert and Erin for Twin City Appliance. Look, before you go spend all that money on those new appliances that I know you're thinking about, because the ones that you have may not be working as well as they should.
They're clattering a little.
Have you thought about having Twin City Appliance come out and just take a look? That might, just might save you literally thousands of dollars.
I'm absolutely going to have them come out and check everything because they're making some funny noises and squeaking, and they can fix it.
Nobody likes squeaking. Twin City Appliance, major appliance repair. They don't install, they don't sell, but they are, as we say, unsurpassed in the Arklatex if your major appliances be on the fritz.
Give Twin City Appliance a call today, 318-688-0253, or online, check them out at twincityappliance.com.
Do you want to save thousands on
$26 past 7 o'clock, 1017 FM, 710 Keel. Yesterday in the news, you had the story about Governor John Bell Edwards. Amazon is coming to Louisiana.
Yeah, what's going on with that?
Amazon is going to build a big distribution warehouse in Louisiana. Edwards concedes he goofed in saying Amazon coming to Louisiana. Governor John Bell Edwards says he misspoke Wednesday when he said on his monthly radio show called Ask the Governor that Louisiana has landed a regional Amazon distribution center. In a written statement, this is coming from yesterday. Edwards says, quoting from the statement, in fielding a call from a listener on my radio show concerning a possible distribution project in Louisiana, I spoke from memory regarding such a project. While Louisiana, the governor goes on, While Louisiana has had discussions with Amazon about this project, there is presently not a definitive project in the works for this company, meaning Amazon, meaning there's no distribution center. Baton Rouge developer Richard Price, he was contacted by a site selection consultant in 2016 about a possible location for such a facility, which he later learned was Amazon, and talks continue. But there is no commitment, because we had talked about, the big story a couple of weeks ago was that Amazon somewhere in the USA, in middle America, was going to build a huge distribution center.
50,000 jobs.
And hire 50,000 people.
Do you know what that would do for this entire region?
Well, if it's not going to happen for this region.
It would be a huge shot in the butt.
The criterion for Amazon is it has to be in a population center of more than 1 million. They've already said the place we put this has to have more than 1 million people, and it has to have an awesome international, it is Amazon, international airport. So we're talking in Louisiana, there's only one. Does New Orleans have 1 million people?
No, they don't.
Okay.
Dallas could be the closest, right? Closest city with 1 million people to us.
Dallas, Atlanta, Houston, San Antonio, Austin. Memphis is under 1 million.
Nothing in Arkansas. Memphis is under 1 million.
But the smaller distribution center to which Governor John Bel Edwards
said we got
it's coming soon. It does not.
Not coming.
Doesn't
soon.
exist.
No.
29 past 7 o'clock. 101.7 FM 710 KEEL. Erin Local News is next. Here's Rapid Ruben.
Keeping an eye on some slow-moving traffic on Linwood Avenue near West 70th Street. And we have some traffic delays on Shed Road near Swan Lake Road in Bossier City. If you have any accidents, hazards, or closures to report to us, please give us a call at our Planet Fitness Traffic Hotline. That's 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather.com forecast. Very warm and humid today. Sun and some clouds with a high of 92. Mainly clear, low 70 tonight. Sunshine, high 93 for tomorrow. With your AccuWeather.com forecast, I'm meteorologist Heather Zaire.
The power of information. KEEL News now.
School board stands with student prayer. Matt Parker has that.
Despite pressure from a national group, the Bossier Parish School Board has voted to keep student prayer at graduation ceremonies. The board received a letter from the group Americans United for Separation of Church and State that asked Bossier to keep prayer and religious sermons from their future graduation ceremonies. The district's legal team is drafting a response letter that says the nonprofit's letter contained factual errors and that the law is on the students' and school board's side. From 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL, I'm Matt Parker.
An investigation continues at the Caddo Animal Shelter after at least one worker is accused of selling a dog online. We asked Caddo Commissioner Mike Middleton if the practice of logging dogs into the books is being followed.
Are they logged in or are they not logged in? How do we know that for sure? And that's what the investigation needs to bring about. And also, in a couple weeks, the camera should be live and 24/7, 365 with 1 year backup. We'll be able to trace these things down, what's going on. And this is supposed to be door-to-door, gate-to-gate coverage.
Middleton says investigators suspect this might not be a one-time occurrence. A bookkeeper busted for stealing cash. Lori Johnson arrested for allegedly stealing nearly $500,000 from her employer. According to the sheriff, Johnson worked for the Greater Shreveport-Bossier Auto Auction and was using her job to take money and cover up her actions. She's also accused of helping another employee conceal thefts. Johnson's illegal activity was caught during an audit by a new accountant. The Caddo Commission delays voting on a new fence. Sheriff Steve Prater has asked for the fence around the courthouse.
If I was just crazy and wanted to shoot somebody, the place to do it's there. They don't have guns in there. Nobody gonna shoot you back.
Caddo Commission voted 8-3 to delay making a final decision on putting a fence around the courthouse. Big celebration for the Scottish Rite, celebrating 100 years of the Scottish Rite Cathedral in downtown Shreveport. Congrats to all the guys. The building on Cotton Street, the oldest building in downtown Shreveport that has never changed ownership. The eye of Hurricane Maria nearing the Turks and Caicos early today as Puerto Rico tries to recover from the storm's devastation. President Trump has added economic action to his fiery military threats against North Korea. The president has authorized stiffer new sanctions. The governor and First Lady Donna Edwards encouraging schools to participate in the Breakfast Challenge to help reduce childhood hunger. Donna Edwards says schools that take action and make sure youngsters eat breakfast can win up to $1,000 in cash and other prizes.
It's an easy thing for us to come. It starts with the superintendents all the way down. So I really am reaching out and begging our superintendents to grab a hold of this program.
Despite cuts to TOPS, more students are going to college in our state this year than last. Centenary saw their largest number of new incoming students since 2011. LSUS saw a 24% jump in enrollment. The Mormon church-owned Brigham Young University has ended a 6-decade ban on the sale of caffeinated soft drinks on campus, surprising students by posting a picture of a can of Coca-Cola on Twitter and just 2 words, "It's happening." Partly cloudy today with a high temp near 92, right now 75. I'm Erin McCarty on 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL.
.736 Robert and Erin, 101.7 FM, 710 KEEL.
I got the blues.
In both your shoes, with all 10.5 toes.
Leave my toes out of it.
So,
9.5.
Darius
Yeah,
Geis
He's playing.
will play this weekend.
That's what they're saying.
For LSU against Syracuse. And it's Syracuse, not Syracuse.
Syracuse.
Like S-Y-R.
Like syrup.
Yes.
Okay.
Because you've been saying Syracuse.
Syracuse.
Like Sarah. Like
what are they,
Fleetwood
the
Mac.
orange? What
Huh?
do they call them, the orange?
Yeah, the orange man.
That's not like a tiger or a lion or bear. Why are they the orange men?
Because that's their color.
Why don't they pick an animal?
I don't know. They're up, the East Coast wieners.
Yeah.
What you gonna do?
Yeah.
Enjoy Darius Geis while you can.
Yeah, this is weird.
No,
It's not weird.
It's stupid. Stupid.
What a moron.
LSU's Geis posts, then deletes picture of himself with brand new $50,000 car.
Oh, boy.
Unless LSU running back Darius Geis has in excess of $50,000 laying around for a rainy day. A photo of him posing with his mom and his brand new car probably isn't going to sit well with the NCAA. Geis quickly deleted the photo. Blah, blah, blah. This will likely lead to an NCAA investigation.
$50,000.
Ultimately focusing on whether Geis has received cash from either LSU itself or boosters.
His mom might be a doctor.
Outside the program.
Mom might have bought him the car.
Amateur athletes. Look. I've said this a bunch of times. And you can give me your opinion. The NCAA rules are sort of like election rules.
Yes.
About contributions and,
Sure.
and donations. And it seems, I mean, you tell me, would college football be a better place? Would college sports be a better place if there really weren't any rules at all? For example, if Erin is an LSU booster and you want to give $100,000 into the Pay the Players Fund, would that necessarily be bad? Because look, what would it change?
There would be so much corruption.
Wait, as opposed to
I know.
No, it would be less. Look at your own industry. Right now in radio, there's really not payola anymore. You can do anything you want as long as you keep a record of it. Fair enough?
Right.
As opposed to 25 or 30 years ago, it was cocaine and cash inside the album cover.
But I think kids who know their scholarship is in jeopardy if they don't mind their P's and Q's.
Wait a second.
You get in trouble, you might be booted off the team and lose your scholarship.
Look.
But if you're getting paid and you got a stream of money coming in,
right?
You can still pay for your college.
They're kind of getting paid right now.
They're
But
getting a college scholarship.
What
I get
if boosters could donate to a pay-the-player fund at whatever college they wanted? Then the college could play specific recruits or players whatever they wanted. It's all above board. Darius Geis, the best player on the LSU team, if they wanted to give him $50,000 and give a third-string offensive tackle $500.
It's amateur sports. You can't
No,
pay
Erin,
'em.
it's not amateur sports.
I know, but it's supposed to be.
That's like what
is the rule now? If
What
I want to
planet-
give Darius Geis his third cousin
What
money.
planet of naive toys do you
know,
live on?
I know, and I understand the thing about all those shirts that had number 7 Leonard Fournette on them, and they were sold by the millions and millions.
And Leonard doesn't get a dime.
Leonard or his family got a nothing
Right.
from that.
Yep.
The college probably got some money because it had the logo.
No, they
and-
got all the money. Well,
Yeah.
some goes to the NCAA for
Right.
NCAA for licensing.
and the retailer for selling them gets some of the cash. But the player who you're celebrating gets Zippo.
Right.
Zippo.
You know what I've always wished they would do? That when you have a kid in college who works at the LSU bookstore, they pay that kid however much,
$7.50 an hour,
or whatever. They should pay the players for all the time and effort they put in. At least something
They do to guard the scoreboard or such no-show jobs.
Yeah.
I mean, things like, look, if you don't think there is a degree of corruption in college sports, in amateur sports, you're kidding yourself.
Right,
What
I
I'm
know.
saying is, why just not make it all open? Because not much is going to change. Alabama, Texas, LSU, USC,
Yeah.
all the ones with the biggest, richest boosters, they're still going to get the best players like they do now.
But if this car truly is Darius Geis's and we can't trace where he got the money, there's going to be trouble.
But do you really care where he got the car?
It's illegal. You can't do it.
It's
So,
not-
you have
it's-
to care right now.
It's not illegal. It's against the rules.
Right.
741, it's 101.7 FM, 710 Keel traffic update. Here's Ruben.
Keeping an eye on some slow-moving traffic on Linwood Avenue near West 70th Street. And we have some traffic delays on Shed Road near Swan Lake Road in Bossier City. If you have any accidents, hazards, or closures to report to us, please give us a call at our Planet Fitness traffic hotline. That's 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather.com forecast. Very warm and humid today. Sun and some clouds with a high of 92. Mainly clear, low 70 tonight. Sunshine, high 93 for tomorrow. With your AccuWeather.com forecast, I'm meteorologist Heather Zaire.
It is 743, 1017 FM and 710 Keel. Shreveport Security Systems text line is 318 392 1884. So
we got to let Matt explode.
You have.
I'm about to explode, all right.
Been getting texts back and forth this morning with Councilman Oliver Jenkins.
Well, I texted a bunch of them yesterday to say, what is the holdup on getting Uber?
Well, wait a second. Now, you had the story yesterday, and it was Uber is in Monroe and in Tyler.
West Monroe, yeah. It's all over the place.
But it's not, nor is Lyft, which is the other LYFT, the other
ride-sharing company. Yeah.
Thank you. Both Uber and Lyft, though under consideration by the Shreveport City Council, have not been approved, or a deal hasn't been reached, or, well, you tell me, because this is something that you really care about. Has Shreveport rejected Uber, or has Uber rejected Shreveport?
It's more of Uber or ride-sharing companies rejecting Shreveport. The Shreveport City Council did pass an ordinance where ride-sharing programs, companies can come here, but the law they passed, as you got in some of your texts, which you can read here in a moment, wasn't very good and wasn't very friendly for a business coming to town.
What does that mean? What does that mean?
Well, Erin, why don't you read the text you got from Stephanie Lynch and others?
I got some others. This one from Michael Corbin will help you understand it. We removed the hold harmless from the ordinance last week that was giving them heartburn. There is a story on social media that each driver must pay $2,500 a year, but that is incorrect. Uber, Lyft, fare would pay $2,500 a year as a company once a year. I hope they come soon. And then I got this as well from Oliver Jenkins, who said some indemnification language in our ordinance needed to change. We amended it last week, so I think it should now be palatable to Lyft and Uber.
So the way you're making it sound is that Uber said under the current conditions, i.e., what they were a week ago saying.
Right.
That Uber was, in fact, rejecting Shreveport, saying,
this is impossible.
So what was the problem? You had also cited some rate, I'm not going to say discrepancies, rate variances or variations from parts of the city. How does that work?
Well, yeah, there's in the law, it's 25 cents for a ride from anywhere in the city, within the city limits. But then they tack on an additional $1, which would make it $1.25 for rides originating at regional or downtown airports. So if you get picked up from the airport, it's going to cost the driver more to go get you.
Now, I cannot imagine that this is something that the Shreveport City Council just thought of on their own. I would assume to some degree this happens in other markets, yes?
It does, but the way the laws and ordinances are written in different places, the fee here might be higher, but to get the license here is cheaper, so it all balances out. If you start, tacking on all these weird hold harmless agreements and this fee and that fee, all of a sudden it's not worth coming to town, and the drivers can't make the money that they can in other cities, so they can't get drivers.
I know you had a big outrage from the taxi companies, and the airport was one of the keys. The airport is the bread and butter for many if you've ever flown into Shreveport, when you get off a plane, there's a herd of they know when the planes arrive, and they show up in droves waiting, and I've hopped in a cab and they've taken me home. But they were worried that if people could, when your plane lands, you get to turn your phone back on, you can order an Uber, then all those cabbies would be out of business, and that's their bread and butter.
If it were up to the cab companies, they would ban Uber altogether.
Oh, they would love that.
Let me be fair. They would make Uber operate under the same rules and regulations under which they operate, which would mean Uber would cease to exist in every market across the country.
What this will do, and I've seen it in other cities, I know Matt has, Uber actually makes the cab companies better. Because if you want to stay in business and you want to compete with Uber, you got to show up. If people call and order a cab, you better be there.
That's exactly what I was going to say. In some markets where the cab companies were particularly angry about Uber coming in, basically the city government went, hey, if you guys want to stay in business, get better. I called a taxi a couple of weeks ago,
and had to wait an hour. I get an Uber, it's there in 3 minutes.
Yep.
If you want the money, if you want people to spend their money on you, give them a reason to spend their money on you, which is something, for some reason, the taxi companies can't get. They've been doing it so long, they think they got, this whole corner of the market, to themselves. Then someone else comes in with something better that makes more sense, and all of a sudden, ooh, we don't want that. We can't have competition.
Yeah, and lots of less DNA on the seats.
Well, last time, I know we got to go, but just a quick story. I, much like you, a lot of times leave my car here when I go on vacation, catch a ride, blah, blah, blah. Well, when I got back from Baltimore a couple of months ago, I hopped in a taxi, and I thought I was going to die. It sounded like the transmission was about to fall off.
Yeah.
We were going down the interstate, and it was smoking. It was, who wants to ride in that?
Exactly.
7:49. It's 101.7 FM 710 Keel traffic update coming up right now.
Looking right now at some slow-moving traffic on Line Avenue near Stoner Avenue. And we have some backed-up traffic on I-220 westbound near North Market due to construction. If you know something we don't, accidents, hazards, or closures, give us a call at our Planet Fitness traffic hotline. That's 687-ROW.
Here's your KeelAccuWeather.com forecast. Mostly sunny and warm again today. Low 90s. Right now, 73. It's 750. Your money now. It is 8 before 8 o'clock. 101.7 FM, 710 Keel. Here's Fletch.
Good morning from the sports desk of 1130 The Tiger. This is Tim Fletcher. The Mansfield Wolverines rode a big night from backup quarterback Brandon Adams to a 42-20 non-district win over Green Oaks at Jerry Burton Memorial Stadium Thursday night. Adams threw 3 touchdown passes and racked up 220 yards through the air and ran for an additional 101 yards. Travis DeWitt caught 2 of Adams' scoring tosses and accumulated 124 yards receiving. Green Oaks' 10 turnovers contributed mightily to the loss. At Independence Stadium, Woodlawn's Travinsky Mosley ran for 215 yards to power Woodlawn to a 43-8 win over BTW. The Knights also got a big night from quarterback Kentrez Roby, who threw 3 touchdown passes. All stats from last night's games, courtesy of the Shreveport Times. Darius Geis told LSU head coach Ed Orgeron that he felt better and wanted to practice before Thursday's workout. Orgeron said the star running back practiced well and will start Saturday night at home against Syracuse, one day after the head coach said Geis would miss the non-conference game. Former Evangel and Louisiana Tech star Trent Taylor caught his first NFL touchdown pass last night for the 49ers in a 41-39 loss to the Los Angeles Rams. Taylor was also flagged for offensive pass interference on a third down conversion around midfield after San Francisco had recovered an onside kick following their last touchdown. Replays showed very little contact from Taylor, but the penalty set the winless Niners back to 3rd and 20, and they failed to convert over the next 2 plays. Rams second-year QB Jared Goff threw for 292 yards, 3 touchdowns, and running back Todd Gurley accounted for 3 touchdowns as the Rams improved to 2-1. From the sports desk of 1130 The Tiger, this is Tim Fletcher.
So Jimmy Kimmel, as though attacking one Louisiana senator was not good enough. 1017 FM 710 Keel, Robert and Erin.
Did he go after Kennedy too?
He said last night on his show he played a clip of Senator John Kennedy and referred to him as inbred.
He referred to Louisiana Senator John Kennedy as inbred.
A couple of nights after calling Senator Bill Cassidy, what do you call
a liar?
A liar. And
yeah.
stuff. This is all over the healthcare thing.
Unbelievable.
Well, we'll talk about that more after 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock. Plus, on the way at about 8:40 from Keller Williams Realty, Chris Hayes is going to be here and talk about what is the appeal.
Why is Cross Bayou
suddenly such coveted land? What's down there other than location? Is it, in other words, what did corporate realty like about it?
What do they see that nobody here has seen?
No other Shreveport developer sees. 756, it's 1017 FM and 710 Keel. Here comes Sean Hannity.
Your morning espresso starts right here. It's the Sean Hannity Morning Minute.
All right, the Debbie Wasserman Schultz IT aid scandal now continues to grow, and of course, the mainstream media ignores it. Now, the Daily Caller's Luke Rosiak is now reporting that multiple women involved with former House IT aide Imran Awan have called Virginia law enforcement and alleged that he was abusive. Officers found one of the women bloodied, and she told him that she just wanted to leave, while the second said that she felt like a slave, and a third woman, Awan's own stepmother, claimed she was being kept in captivity. And wasn't it just a few weeks ago that the Congresswoman was defending a former IT aide, implying any allegations against him might be linked to Islamophobia? Is the mainstream media ever going to do their jobs? Maybe just one time start covering what is a massive scandal?
The Sean Hannity Show, from coast to coast, later today.
There are lots of reasons why you should get life insurance. Here are 2 big reasons you should get it now.
Hi, Mommy. Hey, Dad.
Your family depends on you. Talk to SelectQuote. It's easier and more affordable than you think to get the life insurance your family needs. SelectQuote got Richard, 40, who takes meds to control his cholesterol, a 10-year, $500,000 policy for under $25 a month, and got Vanessa, 37, a $750,000 10-year policy for under $21 a month. Call SelectQuote or go to SelectQuote.com today. Get up to 10 free quotes in minutes from some of the best life insurance companies out there, like Banner Life, Prudential, Mutual of Omaha, and many others. Call 800-987-1717. That's 800-987-1717. 800-987-1717.
Get full details on the example policy at SelectQuote.com/commercials. Or price could vary depending on your health, issuing company, and other factors. Not available in all states.
It is 7:59. One more look at traffic for this hour. Here's Ruben.
Your AccuWeather.com forecast. Very warm and humid today. Sun and some clouds with a high of 92. Mainly clear, low 70 tonight. Sunshine, high 93 for tomorrow. With your AccuWeather.com forecast, I'm meteorologist Heather Zare.
Looking right now at some slow-moving traffic on North Spring Street near East Stoner Avenue, and we have some traffic delays on East Texas Street near I-220 in Bossier City. If you have any accidents, hazards, or closures to report to us, please give us a call at our Planet Fitness Traffic Hotline, 687.
Breaking news and trending talk. This is 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL. KEEL, Shreveport.
Good morning. It's 3 past 8 o'clock, 1017 FM, 710 Keel. Did I say Robert and Erin yet? I forget. What is the ghosty noises? Erin has local news up next.
Investigation continuing at the Caddo Animal Shelter. We'll have more on that. A bookkeeper accused of stealing nearly $500,000 and prayer at high school graduation. You for it, you again it.
Okay, here's the deal. I don't want to play the Rubin interview again, but we can talk about it.
Please.
Maybe we can get him to come back. Look, we can talk about it.
Oh, please.
He thinks he and his wife.
Oh, he doesn't think.
Their apartment is haunted. There's cat food cans flying across the house.
The water faucet turned on by itself.
My toilet flushes by itself, but then again, I am 65. Fletcher in sports, traffic, and weather. It's all coming up this weekend. It's all coming up this hour, and it's here on Keel.
The Keel Morning Report, now on 1017 FM and 710 Keel.
An investigation continues at the Caddo Animal Shelter. We've learned at least one employee is being investigated for allegedly selling a dog from the shelter online. Caddo Commissioner Mike Middleton tells us this employee could face theft charges.
He's taken something in that's not his, and it could be just a misappropriation, which is theft.
But Middleton also tells us he does not believe this is a one-time occurrence. A bookkeeper busted for stealing money. Lori Johnson arrested for allegedly stealing nearly $500,000 from her employer. According to the Caddo Sheriff's Office, Johnson worked for the Greater Shreveport-Bossier Auto Auction and was using her job to take money and cover up her actions. Despite pressure from a national group, the Bossier School Board votes to keep student prayer at graduation ceremonies. The board got a letter from the group Americans United for Separation of Church and State that asked Bossier to keep prayer and religious sermons from future ceremonies. The district's legal team is drafting a response letter that says the nonprofit's letter contained factual errors and that the law is on the students' and school board side. College enrollment is up despite cuts to TOPS. Matt Parker with that.
Despite cuts to TOPS funding, more students are going to college in Louisiana this year than last. Centenary saw their largest number of new incoming students since 2011. LSU saw a 24% jump in enrollment. Northwestern and Grambling's enrollment grew by 7%. Louisiana Tech saw the smallest increase at 1.5%. LSU school system president F. King Alexander says that the numbers show people understand the value of getting a college education. From 1017 FM and 710 Keel, I'm Matt Parker.
Caddo Commission delays a vote on a new fence. Sheriff Steve Prater's been pushing for a fence around the courthouse.
We've got one of the worst places in the world that you could come out of a building and where people could hide or hide anything they wanted, whether it be guns, it could be explosives, it could be anything.
The commission voted 8-3 to delay making a final decision on putting a fence around the courthouse. North Korean leader Kim Jong-un says Donald Trump is deranged and will pay dearly for his threats. The North Korean foreign minister reportedly said his country may be planning to test a hydrogen bomb in the Pacific Ocean. DOTD hoping the major overlay project on I-20 in Webster Parish will be done by the Thanksgiving weekend, which would be ahead of schedule. Spokesperson Erin Buchanan says the westbound lanes are complete and contractors are now working on the eastbound side.
And then, of course, following that, they'll be applying asphalt to the shoulder, putting down the permanent striping, finishing up some guardrail work, and that sort of thing.
Louisiana, the number 7 state for drinking on college game days. Spokeswoman Carson Yarborough says they also found tailgating fans in Sportsman's Paradise prefer burgers, while most Americans prefer wings.
And y'all prefer beer and cornhole as y'all's favorite drinks and tailgating activities.
Partly cloudy today, possible shower, 92 for the high. Right now, 76. I'm Erin McCarty on 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL.
Nine past 8 o'clock. It's 101.7 FM, 710 KEEL. Traffic update. Here's Ruben.
The intersection at Line Avenue and Kings Highway is dealing with some slow-moving traffic right now. And we have some traffic delays on Airline Drive near Old Minden Road in Bossier City. If you have anything to report to us, accidents, hazards, or closures, give us a call at our Planet Fitness Traffic Hotline, 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather.com forecast. Very warm and humid today. Sun and some clouds with a high of 92. Mainly clear, low 70 tonight. Sunshine, high 93 for tomorrow. With your AccuWeather.com forecast, I'm meteorologist Heather Zare.
Good morning. It's 8:12. Robert J. Oops.
Good morning.
A little switch?
Yeah.
Well, trouble with the switch. Me and Caitlin Jenner. 101.7 FM, 710 KEEL. Robert J. Wright and Erin McCarty. See, you always, for months and months, you wanted where we would have our own separate mic switches.
Yes.
Because you just can't trust Matt.
I know.
Well, the way it's worked out is we can't trust ourselves.
We always screw
because we're always doing so many other things, at least between our own ears, that at least me twice this morning.
Yeah, we mess up our switches.
I just started talking and forgot to turn them. I can't hear myself in the headphones. What's the the light is off.
And you know what the hilarious part is? Your first instinct's to point to me like I screwed something up.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a good
wrong with
first
you, Matt?
instinct. Okay. So the big news this morning, I guess, is, well, the big news is how long is it going to be until Starbucks opens their first store on the campus at Brigham Young University? Caffeine, no caffeine, no soft drinks, no coffee, no anything. No caffeine was one of the rules at Brigham Young University, which is in, I think, Provo, Utah. And so they have sort of waived that. Mm-hmm. And in fact, there are pictures all over social media this morning of BYU students holding up cans of Coke.
Yep, they got Coke.
They're going crazy.
Coca-Cola.
That to me would be a fascinating place to go to school.
I know a kid who applied to Brigham Young who decided the Coke rule and the rule about no shorts was going to keep her from going.
Not to mention the celibacy rule, too. I mean, there's a football team should win 6 games on sexual frustration alone. I mean, they should go to a bowl every year. Oh. Just the horny bowl. Okay.
Oh, Robert.
Is there a company called that? I think there is.
Oh, man.
Jimmy Kimmel last night on his show went after our other Louisiana senator after spending a couple of days busting on Dr. Bill Cassidy and calling him a liar. Last night, he went after Senator John Kennedy. Mm-hmm. Yesterday during the day, Kennedy had sort of mentioned Kimmel once or twice and talked about how he was in favor of the Kennedy bill. And Jimmy said he was Kennedy now.
Right.
Kimmel said Kennedy was inbred.
Kimmel actually called John Kennedy inbred.
Yeah.
Why? What's the context?
Because he is for the Kennedy bill. I'm sorry, he is for the Cassidy bill.
So he's inbred. Why?
Because he's for it.
That's stupid. That's just really stupid. And God bless you, Jimmy Kimmel. You got your show.
Somebody asked me.
Just make us laugh.
I got a really nice, that ain't where the world is. Have you watched Stephen Colbert?
I'm not up that time of day, thank God.
I really got a really nice text from a doctor yesterday, and I was stunned. Mm-hmm. I thank you when he said that my understanding and explanation of the current healthcare debate is really, really on the money. And basically what I've said is, where we are right now is it's not about people who can pay, it's about people who can't. And what's the least expensive, most efficient way of paying for all the people who can't pay for themselves. Now, the point I brought up yesterday, which he cited in his text, and what I said yesterday was, Erin McCarty, because of, and all of us really, there are limitations, there are financial limitations for people who pay for their own insurance. There are financial limitations based on what we can afford.
Okay.
What kind of policy you can get, whether it's the best, the least expensive, what your deductible is, etc.
Right.
And I said to Erin yesterday, I said, so basically part of this argument is for the people who can't pay for their own health care. And what politicians are telling you, specifically with Obamacare, is that you, who have your own financial limitations when it comes to your health care, should pay an unlimited amount for people who can't.
I'm not paying an unlimited amount for people who can't pay. Why should I do that?
But Jimmy Kimmel...
I can't pay all that for me.
But Jimmy Kimmel, and look, here is the mercy factor, and there's some validity to this. The mercy factor for people like Jimmy Kimmel's son, who, now Jimmy Kimmel paid, he's a $35 million man, but there are people who need health care, who can't afford health care.
Right.
And we as a nation have decided that we should pay for it. The question is the federal government the way to go?
No. But Cassidy's deal about letting the states manage it
Okay.
That troubles me even worse.
Well, the federal government is still
you
going
want
to...
John Bell Edwards to have all that money?
The federal government is still going to be the clearinghouse for all the money. They're just going to send it to the states. And
we manage our money so well down here.
And here's a question that you asked Senator Cassidy in a previous interview. And you said, on my behalf. And the question was, if you are going to allocate, if you're going to give specific monies to the states, in this case, California, let's say.
Give California $2 billion.
And Cassidy has said, if California wants to keep running an Obamacare-like system, that's up to them.
Out.
I said, well, what happens when they run out of money? What happens if they can't afford to pay an unlimited amount, not only for the citizens of California, but as they have chosen to do, for all the illegal aliens, the undocumented workers in their state?
Right.
What happens when they run out of cash? Look, Vermont had single payer. The state of Vermont had single payer, and it imploded. If California wants to do single payer or Obamacare, and Cassidy said, when they're out of money, they're out of money.
Yep.
Which draws me to the conclusion that if a kid who needs a heart operation like Jimmy Kimmel's in California, if California... No, that's when Cassidy says, when they're out, they're out.
Right.
He doesn't really mean that. Because you're not going to let that little kid die.
No, you're not.
So the question remains, how do we pay an unlimited amount of money for the people in this country who can't pay for their own health care? We cannot.
We can't afford it. We can't afford it.
That's where we are right now. The point being short term, as long as we go from the government to insurance companies and it's all being passed along to you one way or the other. That's just another layer of bureaucracy that I think we would be better served if it were removed.
Yeah.
But we'll see what happens when it comes to, if it even ever comes to a vote. Somebody asked me the other day, what do you think about the Cassidy plan? I said, I think I'm for it. They said, why? I said, because it's not Obamacare.
Right.
It ain't Obamacare. The same reason people said, did you vote for Trump? Yes, why? He wasn't Hillary. The logic is simple. 19 past 8 o'clock, 101.7 FM, 710 Keel traffic update. Here's Ruben.
Looking right now at some slow-moving traffic on North Spring Street near East Stoner Avenue, and we have some traffic delays on East Texas Street near I-220 in Bossier City. If you have any accidents, hazards, or closures to report to us, please give us a call at our Planet Fitness traffic hotline, 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather.com forecast. Very warm and humid today. Sun and some clouds with a high of 92. Mainly clear, low 70 tonight. Sunshine, high 93 for tomorrow. With your AccuWeather.com forecast, I'm meteorologist Heather Zare.
Twenty-two past 8 o'clock, Keel Sports. Here's Fletch.
Good morning from the sports desk of 1130 The Tiger. This is Tim Fletcher. The Mansfield Wolverines rode a big night from backup quarterback Brandon Adams to a 42-20 non-district win over Green Oaks at Jerry Burton Memorial Stadium Thursday night. Adams threw 3 touchdown passes and racked up 220 yards through the air and ran for an additional 101 yards. Travis DeWitt caught 2 of Adams' scoring tosses and accumulated 124 yards receiving. Green Oaks' 10 turnovers contributed mightily to the loss. At Independence Stadium, Woodlawn's Stravinsky Mosley ran for 215 yards to power Woodlawn to a 43-8 win over BTW. The Knights also got a big night from quarterback Kentrez Roby, who threw 3 touchdown passes. All stats from last night's games, courtesy of the Shreveport Times. Darius Geis told LSU head coach Ed Orgeron that he felt better and wanted to practice before Thursday's workout. Orgeron said the star running back practiced well and will start Saturday night at home against Syracuse, one day after the head coach said Geis would miss the non-conference game. Former Evangel and Louisiana Tech star Trent Taylor caught his first NFL touchdown pass last night for the 49ers in a 41-39 loss to the Los Angeles Rams. Taylor was also flagged for offensive pass interference on a third down conversion around midfield after San Francisco had recovered an onside kick following their last touchdown. Replays showed very little contact from Taylor, but the penalty set the winless Niners back to 3rd and 20, and they failed to convert over the next 2 plays. Rams second-year QB Jared Goff threw for 292 yards, 3 touchdowns, and running back Todd Gurley accounted for 3 touchdowns as the Rams improved to 2-1. From the sports desk of 1130 The Tiger.
Where's the ghost music? No ghost music.
We lost all our ghost music when we went to video because we don't have publishing rights.
Oh, yeah.
Or,
okay.
you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
What is it, BMI or something? 1017 FM. Hold on, I got a cough.
Are you going to be all right?
No.
Okay.
1017 FM, 710 Keel. Shreveport Security Systems text line is 318-392-1884. One of the real tragedies, and there haven't been many, but this is not a real tragedy, but one of the real tragedies of our working in the same facility for more than 2 decades, the same broadcast park, if you will.
Yeah.
As soon as we put up the slide out back. There used to be a couple of temporary storage facilities on the side of the building. And in one of those, we're all going back to the late 90s when we were still on 94.5. Were all the photos and just all the memorabilia and paraphernalia that we collected.
Sure.
And they were in a bunch of boxes and everything else. Well, about 10 or 12 years ago, one of the engineers goes in there to look for something. And termites had gotten in there.
Yeah.
And they literally had eaten everything that was in there. And they had to level the building, come out and fumigate, do all sorts of weird stuff. The point being, one of the things that was in a bunch of the boxes was all the photos, specifically the Polaroids you had taken when you went on ghost hunts around town.
Went to the hanging tree.
Back in the late 90s.
Oh, yeah. I've been to all of them.
Now, the creepiest one was the one about the wall. Tell everybody that. And we had the Polaroid of this, and it was destroyed.
Yes, it was destroyed. This is a home near Bird High, a couple of blocks away from Bird High School. And the lady there said, my house is haunted. I think it's haunted by a child.
We would do this live on the air.
Oh, yeah. And I go to the house, and in the kitchen, the temperature drops all of a sudden. In another room, the rocking chair starts moving. Nobody's near it. And then she brings me into the master bedroom, and the wallpaper on the wall, for lack of a better way to explain it, the texture of it was kind of like burlap. It was a thick, heavy wallpaper. Brown, light brown in color. And she said, snap a few pictures of that wall right next to my dresser, next to the mirror by the dresser. And I said, okay. And I had a Polaroid camera.
It's the late 90s. That's all you had.
Yeah, I had a Polaroid camera to take shots.
Like 60-second develop.
So I took a couple of shots of the wall. And I rub the wall with my hand, and I'm trying to see if there's some trick going on. I've always been a skeptic.
Regular wallpaper.
So I lay the photos on the bed to develop, and we go about, kind of wandering in the house. Then I come back, and I pick up one of the pictures that I had taken of the wall, and as clear as day, in writing in that wallpaper.
Wallpaper doesn't show up.
Wallpaper, it's nothing on the wallpaper that you can see with the naked eye. On the photo, it says witch.
Scrawled into the wall like somebody
scratched in there with a knife.
Scrawled it into the wall with a knife.
Mm-hmm.
The word witch.
Witch.
Now, Erin has, I know to this day that freaks me out. So Reuben, next door on traffic, he and his wife in their apartment have this weird, and you put the interview, we had him on in the 6 o'clock hour, and we don't have time to rerun, but he's talking about, they've called a priest.
Yeah.
And there's cans flying around the house and lights turning on and off. Well, tell us about it.
Reuben lives in an apartment dating back to the 60s in southeast Shreveport, and he says that things started about 20 months ago. The first time he noticed, he and his wife are laying in bed in their bedroom, and the water faucet in the bathroom turns on by its freaking self. Not drip, drip, drip.
But like full
water,
force.
like someone's in there brushing their freaking teeth.
You already said that, yeah.
Yeah. The water turns on. I said, who else is there in the apartment with you? It's just me and my wife.
Yeah,
you're laying in bed?
Believe me, you Perry Mason's the kid.
And yes, we're laying in bed and the water comes on.
Mm-hmm.
This is freaky. Then he said he goes in the kitchen. His wife's in the kitchen. She's 10 feet from the fridge. A can of cat food on the fridge. It's not stacked up like it just tumped over and fell.
No, he said it was like somebody you took your hand and swept it.
Swept it. And it happened to him again a few days later.
Yeah. Now you can see the entire interview with Reuben about his haunted apartment, and they said they asked around, and there was some story about an elderly fellow that died there a few years ago.
Yeah.
Before they moved in, obviously.
And I asked him, is his wife ready to pack up and move? And he said, she's about a 9.5 out of 10.
So if you are intrigued by this sort of thing, the entire interview with Reuben from earlier this morning in the 6 o'clock hour is in the next half hour to 45 minutes on the website.
You bet.
At KEELnews.com. 29 past 8 o'clock. It's 1017 FM 710 KEEL. Speaking of Reuben, he's here right now.
The intersection at Highland Avenue and Olive Street's dealing with some slow-moving traffic right now. And we have some traffic delays on East Texas Street near Traffic Street in Bossier City. If you have anything to report to us, please give us a call at our Planet Fitness traffic hotline. That's 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather.com forecast. Very warm and humid today. Sun and some clouds with a high of 92. Mainly clear, low 70 tonight. Sunshine, high 93 for tomorrow. With your AccuWeather.com forecast, I'm meteorologist Heather Zaire.
The power of information. KEEL News now.
School board stands with student prayer. Matt Parker has that.
Despite pressure from a national group, The Bossier Parish School Board has voted to keep student prayer at graduation ceremonies. The board received a letter from the group Americans United for Separation of Church and State that asked Bossier to keep prayer and religious sermons from their future graduation ceremonies. The district's legal team is drafting a response letter that says the nonprofit's letter contained factual errors and that the law is on the students' and school board's side. From 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL, I'm Matt Parker.
An investigation continues at the Caddo Animal Shelter after at least one worker is accused of selling a dog online. We asked Caddo Commissioner Mike Middleton if the practice of logging dogs into the books is being followed.
Are they logged in or are they not logged in? How do we know that for sure? And that's what the investigation needs to bring about. And also, in a couple weeks, the cameras should be live and 24/7, 365 with 1 year backup. We'll be able to trace these things down, what's going on. And this is supposed to be door-to-door, gate-to-gate coverage.
Middleton says investigators suspect this might not be a one-time occurrence. A bookkeeper busted for stealing cash. Lori Johnson arrested for allegedly stealing nearly $500,000 from her employer. According to the sheriff, Johnson worked for the Greater Shreveport-Bossier Auto Auction and was using her job to take money and cover up her actions. She's also accused of helping another employee conceal thefts. Johnson's illegal activity was caught during an audit by a new accountant. The Caddo Commission delays voting on a new fence. Sheriff Steve Prater has asked for the fence around the courthouse.
If I was just crazy and wanted to shoot somebody, the place to do it's there. They don't have guns in there. Nobody gonna shoot you back.
Caddo Commission voted 8-3 to delay making a final decision on putting a fence around the courthouse. Big celebration for the Scottish Rite, celebrating 100 years of the Scottish Rite Cathedral in downtown Shreveport. Congrats to all the guys. The building on Cotton Street, the oldest building in downtown Shreveport that has never changed ownership. The eye of Hurricane Maria nearing the Turks and Caicos early today as Puerto Rico tries to recover from the storm's devastation. President Trump has added economic action to his fiery military threats against North Korea. The president has authorized stiffer new sanctions. The governor and First Lady Donna Edwards encouraging schools to participate in the Breakfast Challenge to help reduce childhood hunger. Donna Edwards says schools that take action and make sure youngsters eat breakfast can win up to $1,000 in cash and other prizes.
It's an easy thing for us to come. It starts with the superintendents all the way down. So I really am reaching out and begging our superintendents to grab a hold of this program.
Despite cuts to TOPS, more students are going to college in our state this year than last. Centenary saw their largest number of new incoming students since 2011. LSUS saw a 24% jump in enrollment. The Mormon church-owned Brigham Young University has ended a 6-decade ban on the sale of caffeinated soft drinks on campus, surprising students by posting a picture of a can of Coca-Cola on Twitter and just 2 words, "It's happening." Partly cloudy today with a high temp near 92, right now 75. I'm Erin McCarty on 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL.
It is 8:35, 101.7, just changed, 8:36, 101.7 FM, 710 KEEL. Erin's father, John, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is a, can I talk about this? Can I talk about this?
I got to say something first, though.
Okay, well, is this happy?
No.
No?
No.
Okay, go ahead. We'll move this till later.
Tomorrow's 2 years.
Since your mom passed away?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
let me ask you, pardon me. It's
weird about this time of year.
I was going to ask you two questions. One, does it seem like the fastest
Yes.
2 years? My dad passed.
I can't believe I tell you 2 years.
When your mother was still alive and you had not experienced the passing of that parent.
Mm-hmm.
And my dad passed away in 2010.
Right.
And it would be a year, 2 years, 5 years. And I would say, I can't believe that it's been 5 or 6 or whatever number of years it had been. And you would just look at me oddly. And now that your mother's passed away, she passed away 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
You look back and you go, I can't believe that 2 years went by that fast, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
go ahead. Now, my question was, do you get sad, depressed, missing her more around? Because I have a friend of mine, Dan, who lives up in Michigan, and he's about my age, maybe a little older. His mother passed away like 30 or 35 years ago. And around Mother's Day, he still, to this day, gets sad and longing for her.
I want another conversation. I want another outing. I want one more chance. And don't get me wrong, and I always tell people this when you have elderly parents. I was with my mother when she passed. She leaned over to me about 15 minutes before she passed. I'm going to cry. And she said, goodbye. That was her last word on earth. As I'm holding her hand, she says goodbye. And she still was alive, and I kind of laid my head down to kind of rest. It was early in the morning. And then when I put my head back up about 10 minutes later, she had passed.
Mm-hmm.
Holding my hand, accepting of the fact that she was getting ready to go. She knew she was coming. And I had great moments at the end with her. Don't get me wrong. We singing to her, reading to her, just joyful times while watching her.
Very spiritual, may I add.
While watching her exterior fade.
Mm-hmm.
Knowing my mother's heart and mind and soul were safe. And knowing how accepting of it she was. I want that part. I want her to tell me, how do I get that part of you? How can I get that part of you in me? It's a struggle I deal with. I don't have the spiritual life she had. She grew as she aged with it. But I'm going to tell you, if you have an older parent, remember this. The nurses told me this. The last thing that goes for them is their hearing. Touch and hearing. They can feel you touch them, and they can hear you. Keep talking. Keep singing. Keep praying. Because they still hear you until almost at the very end. And I could see it in my mother's eyes when I would talk to her. And at the end, I was telling her about my dad. And her eyes would light up. Even though the eyes were headed toward death, her eyes would still light up, thinking about the love of her life. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to go here today. But I just... 2 years just flies by.
Yeah, well, it'll be in January. It will be 8 years.
Does it get easier?
Here's the thing, and I'll relate what you just said to myself. If only my father were around to yell at me, to swear at me, and call me a dumbass one more time.
One more time.
8:39, it's 101.7 FM, 710 KEEL traffic update coming up, right? You're like red on that 70s show. Dumbass. Here's Ruben, traffic update.
The intersection at Highland Avenue and Olive Street's dealing with some slow-moving traffic right now. And we have some traffic delays on East Texas Street near Traffic Street in Bossier City. If you have anything to report to us, please give us a call at our Planet Fitness traffic hotline. That's 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather.com forecast. Very warm and humid today. Sun and some clouds with a high of 92. Mainly clear, low 70 tonight. Sunshine, high 93 for tomorrow. With your AccuWeather.com forecast, I'm meteorologist Heather Zaire.
Hey, I'm here.
843, it's 101.7 FM and 710 Keel. Robert J. Wright and Erin McCarty. A friend of the show, and Lord knows we are friends of his, Mr. Chris Hay. Chris Hayes from Keller Williams Realty Northwest. See, I'm intimidated by a man with cufflinks. Keller Williams Realty Northwest is here. Also from Keller Williams is Mr. Keith Kuiper. Now, we were wondering, given the rather tumultuous events in Shreveport of the last, say, 45 days, and specifically the vote on the proposed arena down at the Cross Bayou area. And we kind of talked about this in a segment earlier this morning. There was this company, Corporate Realty, from Birmingham, Alabama, going to come to town, spend $130 million, whatever it worked out to be, on a retail area. And we were talking about I said repeatedly, what is it about this spot, about this market, that Corporate Realty likes so much that we in Shreveport seem to be missing? And I wanted to get a couple of real estate guys in to talk about that. So I guess the first question would be, what is it about Cross Bayou? Does it have any real estate value? And part two of that question, what was it about that, maybe other than the arena, that Corporate Realty liked? Chris, Keith?
What's your commentary, Keith?
Well, corporate America wants to spend some money in Shreveport, and we like for them to spend money in Shreveport. Trouble is, without a good plan and without selling it to the public lashed out. It's like, tell us what you're doing. What is this? How is it going to work?
So tell me what Corporate Realty saw in Shreveport that Shreveport didn't see in itself.
I don't know, because I'm not corporate.
But they do this across the country. This is how they make their living. And as I know that Greg Adams has pointed out a bunch of times, they have successes in, let's say, theoretically, Atlanta, Tampa, Chattanooga, whatever. They didn't want to go to the next proposal and have somebody stand up and say, yeah, but what the hell went wrong in Shreveport? What is it about Cross Bayou specifically that you think they liked?
Yeah, I think they see a potential in it. And at the same time, I don't know that we have a real huge draw, like big sports are a real active downtown. We're a mid-sized city, and at the end of the day, maybe they see a potentiality and investment in there with hopefully a good return on it. They just probably did not, get enough buy-in or sell it to the public.
Do you think without an arena, something sexy down there to attract people, that area has any appeal to developers at all?
Well, the arena was a draw for sure. I mean, that would have been a draw for sure.
I mean, it's not exactly like Shreveport developers are lining up to build stuff down there.
Exactly. So, I get where we're at right now, and the arena was voted down. That's a good move, in my opinion, as well. And at the same time, that would have been a draw for a developer to come here and spend a bunch of money and trying to make something happen in downtown.
Keith, go ahead.
So.
Well, the development of Cross Bayou, this is not the first time this has been brought up. A number of years ago, a local architect drew up plans for development on Cross Bayou. Now, I believe that was more of a living and retail community. So it's not the first time. It's just it didn't work then, or it didn't get enough traction.
Basically 0 for 2 now.
Correct.
Correct. You're waving frantically down there. What you got?
I want to know, and Chris sells a zillion homes. He's probably the biggest real estate sales guy in the community. I want to know if people will really go live here. Will people?
You mean on the riverfront?
Will that be a draw? I mean, I have an interest in it, to be quite honest.
It's a cool lifestyle. It really is, and it appeals to a lot of folks. And I think we've got several of our buildings downtown, and Keith knows a little bit more about this than I do, but several of our buildings downtown obviously been converted and updated and remodeled to downtown living.
But right now, pardon me, there is so little residential living along the river. Why? Mm-hmm. Why is that? I mean, Erin's saying, I'd move down there in a heartbeat, and she's being totally serious. Mm-hmm. And yet, once again, I don't see Shreveport or Bossier guys lining up to build places along the river.
Well, we're not still don't have the downtown draw yet. So there hasn't been the local investment or enough out of town to invest in downtown Shreveport to make it a viable place to draw the people in. Although I live down off Clyde Fant in Island Park, and so, but if you look in Island Park or going down Clyde Fant, there's development going all down Clyde Fant south towards Jimmy Davis.
Mm-hmm.
So, maybe we're gradually getting there.
Is there any chance that the other side of Clyde Fant, all that city-owned property, I mean, to build things where people could, if it's not Cross Bayou, is it down there by Jimmy Davis? I think riverfront living for a lot of people has a huge appeal. And, if it could be Cross Bayou and I've got a balcony overlooking the river and, I think that's viable, but nobody local's been willing to step in, so I'm questioning whether it really is.
Let me add on to that. Is the problem with what Erin just said is you can't put a subdivision down there. It's basically going to be rental property, and that has limited appeal as far. Go ahead.
Rental or not, the river floods. And until somebody solves that problem, I wouldn't recommend putting anything on the Red River. Now, Cross Bayou, to my knowledge, does not have a history of flooding. And as we develop more living downtown, the old buildings, like the lofts at 624, I believe they're completely rented and not everybody or anybody's moved in at this time. The old United Mercantile Bank building, which was the first commercial national bank, is now going to be the standard. And that's going to bring more people in. And as we slowly build into the core of downtown, then I think more developers might be interested in doing something on Cross Bayou.
There's also been the talk, guys, and that putting a development at Cross Bayou will only cannibalize other businesses in our community. Is that a concern for you guys as you see what businesses are locating here? And I mean, there's only going to be so many that are going to want to operate in this complex if we do build it.
I think that's progress. So at the end of the day, progress is not a bad thing. So I don't see where that's much of an issue, honestly.
So as far as cannibalizing other businesses downtown, no, I just see that as adding more to the mix, giving people more choices.
Right. If you're a betting guy, 10 being corporate realty still looking, they're still interested in coming, 1 being this deal is dead, where would you guys put it?
My thought is this. I mean, they're 120, 130 million in. We're dealing with about a $30 million arena bond call, and if it's that viable and that profitable, I mean, they're already coming to the table with 80%. Private investment is probably a better move, in my opinion, than the city covering it or us taxpayers covering it. So if Shreveport is that viable an investment, why not come up with the other 25 or 30 million and gamble on it? I mean, you're coming up with 120 or 30 million anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Why not do the other 30 million?
So you put it at a 5? You'd put it at a 5-ish?
Yeah.
Maybe?
Yeah, I'm 6.5.
Keith, wrapping it up,
what you thinking?
Gamble.
That's a politician's answer, isn't it?
Yeah.
Gamble is really the wrong term to put on it. And I believe that's what everybody was seeing this as, because it was not properly sold to the public. And so that's why there was so much backlash, editorials, that sort of thing, saying we can't afford to build this. Well, they didn't tell us what kind of revenue we were going to get off of it. So perhaps it would work, but you've got to get the community to buy into it.
Chris Hayes, Keith Kuiper, Keller Williams, Northwest Louisiana Realty. Gentlemen, thank you very much. 852. 1017 FM 710 KEEL traffic update right now. Here's Ruben.
Keeping an eye on some slow-moving traffic on Mansfield Road near Hollywood Avenue, and we have some traffic delays on Hamilton Road near Barksdale Boulevard in Bossier City. If you have any accidents, hazards, or closures to report to us, please give us a call at our Planet Fitness traffic hotline, 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather.com forecast. Sun and some clouds today. Very warm and humid, high 92. Mainly clear, low 70 tonight. Sunshine, high 93 tomorrow. With your AccuWeather.com forecast, I'm meteorologist Heather Zaire.
1017 FM, 710 Keel Sports.
Good morning from the sports desk of 1130 The Tiger. This is Tim Fletcher. The Mansfield Wolverines rode a big night from backup quarterback Brandon Adams to a 42-20 non-district win over Green Oaks at Jerry Burton Memorial Stadium Thursday night. Adams threw 3 touchdown passes and racked up 220 yards through the air and ran for an additional 101 yards. Travis DeWitt caught 2 of Adams' scoring tosses and accumulated 124 yards receiving. Green Oaks' 10 turnovers contributed mightily to the loss. At Independence Stadium, Woodlawn's Travinsky Mosley ran for 215 yards to power Woodlawn to a 43-8 win over BTW. The Knights also got a big night from quarterback Kentrez Roby, who threw 3 touchdown passes. All stats from last night's games, courtesy of the Shreveport Times. Darius Geis told LSU head coach Ed Orgeron that he felt better and wanted to practice before Thursday's workout. Orgeron said the star running back practiced well and will start Saturday night at home against Syracuse, one day after the head coach said Geis would miss the non-conference game. Former Evangel and Louisiana Tech star Trent Taylor caught his first NFL touchdown pass last night for the 49ers in a 41-39 loss to the Los Angeles Rams. Taylor was also flagged for offensive pass interference on a third down conversion around midfield after San Francisco had recovered an onside kick following their last touchdown. Replays showed very little contact from Taylor, but the penalty set the winless Niners back to 3rd and 20, and they failed to convert over the next 2 plays. Rams second-year QB Jared Goff threw for 292 yards, 3 touchdowns, and running back Todd Gurley accounted for 3 touchdowns as the Rams improved to 2-1. From the sports desk of 1130 The Tiger, this is Tim Fletcher.
Holy cow, 8:57. We got to go back Monday morning, 6 to 9. Here's Kim Commando.
Hear from all the hurricanes. One of the most important is that our communication networks can be better. And one way to do that is to bring free local FM radio to everyone's smartphone. Kim Commando with your Friday Consumer Tech Update. This week, while touring the storm damage of Hurricane Irma, the chairman of the FCC says that the time is now to enable everyone's smartphone with local FM radio reception. It's not well known, but most smartphones already include an FM radio chip capable of receiving local stations. But only 44% of the top-selling smartphones in the U.S. have the chip activated. And this is curious, because even in 1982, Sony's Walkman offered FM. When emergencies like this season's hurricanes strike, everyone would have a better direct line to official news and information. It could be done tomorrow, because all cell phone providers need to do is to simply turn the feature on. The question is, will they? Our tech news is updated all the time at news.commando.com. That's KOMANDO.
Police use dash cameras to retain evidence and protect themselves against wrongful prosecution. Now you can too. It's your proof of your innocence in an accident or a traffic stop, always acting as your in-car security system. Driving can be dangerous, but the Commando dash cam with its wide lens captures the entire road and makes a record of every drive. The built-in GPS pinpoints exactly where and when events occur, and the Commando dash cam records in HD, daylight, and low-light conditions.
The Commando dash cam recorded an accident that was not my fault.
There's parking assist, lane departure, and collision warning systems built in too.
The Commando dash cam proved my innocence.
There's no better technology at any price. Find the Commando dash cam at shop.commando.com. Shop.commando.com.
The intersection at Highland Avenue and Olive Street's dealing with some slow-moving traffic right now. And we have some traffic delays on East Texas Street near Traffic Street in Bossier City. If you have anything to report to us, please give us a call at our Planet Fitness traffic hotline. That's 687.
Breaking news and trending talk. This is 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL. KEEL, Shreveport.